BoomBerry Blaze presents Very Best Budcast, featuring Boom, Nita, Heather, Adam, and Maya. Pilot episode, February 20th, 2016.
So the idea with this is that we kind of want to expand our media outreach and do multiple things. Because like I said, it's hard to just be a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or be a Let's Play channel. It's hard to be a YouTube channel, yes, but Let's Play is even harder.
It's particularly hard as a Let's
Yeah.
Play. Well, yeah, and I've noticed like a lot of channels have been broadening out. Everything Wrong With now has their own podcast.
Yeah, podcasts seem to be a really popular choice. Is Adam here?
I am.
All right, cool. Let me just do the intro then. Let's go into it. Go into some stupid shit.
Awesome.
Hey guys, I'm Boom from BoomBerry Plays, and this is our attempt at a podcast of some sort. As always, I am your moderator, Boom, and like I said, I guess tentatively we'll call this the Word Vomit Cast. So welcome to the Word Vomit Cast, everybody.
I like Berry Best Buds.
I will probably go with that name, honestly.
That's way better.
Yeah. Although
You guys don't like Word Vomit? Word Vomit, come on.
I like Berry Best Buds. It's so cute.
Word Vomit. There's a lot of groundswell around Word Vomit. We gotta probably think about that.
But Word
Just saying.
Vomit has a completely different context. Or
Yeah,
maybe
you're
not.
right.
It depends on how much stupid that comes out of this podcast.
Oh, a lot is coming out. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce everybody. So, of course, Nita, say hi.
Hello.
I will be... this is a weird intro. Joined by my ever stylish, stressed out, and seamstress superstar, Nita.
What?
Don't ask. It's the intro I wrote for you.
Okay.
And then we also have, from the sewers of the 80s and beyond, here comes our Retron superstar. Everyone's a superstar, by the way. Adam.
Hello, nice to be here.
And finally, having conquered the Ferelden hinterlands, here comes superstar Inquisitor Heather.
Hello, everyone.
And so yeah, the four of us are gonna attempt a podcast of whatever worth.
That's Boom. He's not a superstar.
No,
He can go
Not
fuck
like
himself.
you know
I'm
what's
a
really funny?
superstar
I did
ultra.
not. I didn't write myself a superstar thing. I didn't even think about it. I actually didn't write
Sad
myself an
little
intro. Whatever.
Well, you're the moderator.
The moderator.
The
Sorry.
moderator.
All right, so let's just kick off the discussion with we just got done trying to get Comic-Con tickets at the open registration here on February 20th. So let's just kind of like talk about that for a second. Anybody want to jump in?
Well-
Spoilers, our friends Adam and Heather did not get Friday and Saturday.
That is very
Ah.
true. You know, though, I will say to the benefit of Comic-Con and their staff, these have gone more smoothly with less technical issues than years prior. I mean, it's unfortunate we didn't get our, Friday, Saturday tickets, but, we did get Thursday, Sunday on the pre-register, so it's not, all doom and gloom. And, all things considered, it's easier than it's been in the past to attempt to get tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but-
true.
I like
really-
how they didn't dangle us for a few hours. Go ahead, Heather.
Well, yeah, and of course we've had significantly better luck past years where it's been like 10, 15 minutes and we're like, bam, and then we got all our tickets, whereas this year we waited for an hour, 45 minutes or something, only to find out that we didn't get Friday and Saturday. Though there's still like so much to do, so we hope that maybe there's some way we can still get Friday and Saturday, but if we don't, it's not like we're just gonna not go those days.
It's with the gas lamp as active as it is, especially in the recent years, like I feel like there's still reason to check it out.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
on
Yeah,
those
for
days.
sure.
No. I always tell people that even if you don't have tickets, you should totally go down and see it. And I cosplay, so that alone, leaves me with so much to do when I'm down there.
Hell, you might not even be able to do anything. Just get photo ops all day. Or people getting photo ops on you.
Depends on how well my cosplay was. Although my first year I went, I did get in that contest, so there's that.
Yeah, and that was outside of Comic-Con even. So
Yep.
yeah.
So it didn't matter whether I had tickets or not.
It's like that time, God, we got invited to like entertainment magazines like Penthouse Suite for a photo shoot, and then they ended up not using any of the really good photos that, because there was another group there too that was really awesome. They ended up using like none of those photos.
Of course they did.
It sucks. And they weren't even online too, because they were like, any photos we don't put on the magazine are gonna be online. Never showed up.
Oh,
Lies.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so now people just have to believe that it happened.
For real.
So I think one thing too that I always find sort of funny about the whole Comic-Con registration process is every once in a while you'll have that friend or coworker that goes, "Oh yeah, Comic-Con. I was thinking about going this year." And you just say, "Oh no, you've already missed your opportunity.
Like,
I'm
oh,
sorry."
you're so cute. And every time someone
Sweet
tells me
summer
that,
child.
yeah, every time someone tells me that, I go through the long, elaborate process that it takes to get Comic-Con tickets, and always tell them, you know, if you really, really want to go, you need to register now. And they never, ever, ever do it.
And then,
Oh,
and
man.
then, like, it's like a week before, you know, the thing, and they're like, "Oh, so, how do you get tickets again?"
Like, oh.
God, yeah. I actually used to hear that at work, but like, you know, I've been there like for 3 years now, and finally convinced people, yeah, you can't just spur of the moment want to go. You have to actually plan for it.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
that said, though, our Nita and I's first year going, Nita just up and was like, "Hey, you want to go to Comic-Con?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And we just got tickets.
Yeah. Well, the first time we did it, like, you could get tickets for months. They
Yeah,
didn't
just
sell
so I
out.
know.
You could still
Boy,
buy
have
tickets
times
at the door.
changed.
You could just get tickets. And it was
great.
like the year after that, it became like a big hustle. And then, like, unfortunately, that was also the first year they switched to the new system, which is similar to the what we have now, where you like wait in lobbies. But it was like broken as all fuck back then.
Yeah.
So it was not good.
Yeah,
I
well,
remember the 5th of November. The leapfrog treason and prot. Wait, leapfrog? Was it leapfrog or was it?
I don't remember.
I don't know,
Either
but I
way,
was going to
but I
comment
was
more on the
pissed.
prot.
Yeah,
prot.
exactly.
Well, that's because I got stuck on leapfrog. I'm like, wait, that can't be right.
Well,
They had a frog.
I was just
They
getting
had a
WoW. I was just getting World of Warcraft flashbacks.
If you
Oh
want
yeah, I was playing WoW back then.
to, if you want to have a good chuckle, go look at the SDCC tag on Twitter.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh.
Let's take a look at it.
Poor Bebis. Let's see if I can't find like good ones. There's all sorts of memes. They got like every comic book gif that they could maybe, you know, associate with the wait for Comic-Con tickets up. Like just everything.
I swear some of these pictures are posted from like years and years ago.
I know, right?
Like skeleton
Ah,
sitting at a
yes.
computer waiting for my turn to buy SDCC tickets.
For real.
That's good.
I love finding the salty people, man. And they got all that salt because they didn't win the random lottery.
The
Yeah.
random
And they
lottery.
don't think it's fair.
It's not.
I mean, I can't think of a better system
No.
for such a like amazingly popular event. I mean, a random lottery is pretty much the only way to do it.
yeah.
It is also like limited by region as well, so it tries to be even more fair to kind of get a bigger mix of people in there. It actually kind of sucks for Californians though, because you know, of course, the bulk of the West Coast is out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry you guys didn't get in. We'll
Well,
figure out
we still
something
have
to
the
get you
2
guys into the
days,
panels.
so it's not like we're not in at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
They do like the secret resales because obviously people will cancel and all that type of stuff. So it's possible to get in Saturday, at least Saturday, Friday. I mean,
Yeah. Well, we'll have to find out when the stupid fucking resale things come on.
yeah,
I
they
think
do
another-
not advertise those.
Another aspect of this I'm very curious about is that when they finish the expansion of the convention center, if that will allow them to open up more ticket sales at the gate, as it were, so that people actually have a chance to go that are, you know, more casually interested.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is that I think they would just use that extra space and those extra tickets on the online system. I think Comic-Con's done with at the gate badges.
Well,
Oh!
we'll just have to wait and see.
You guys can get volunteer badges because not volunteer badges, but handicap ones to help
yeah.
Nita's mom out.
That's true.
And that'll get you
your
in for
pass.
a day or so. Oh gosh, so sorry, really quickly. The one thing I actually hate about this whole system is the hotels, like the way they do
yes.
hotels.
Okay, the badges should definitely be a lottery. That makes sense. The hotels on that kind of a lottery system, and you don't have to confirm that you have a badge to get a hotel, that doesn't work for me.
No,
Yeah.
that's absolutely insane. It should be if you have a badge, you have priority for the hotel. I mean, it's through the Comic-Con system.
I know.
Right. Well, and
It's
it's
like-
not like
And
Go
it's the
ahead.
Comic-Con hotel
no, go
block.
on.
It's supposed to be for people who bought, tickets.
Well, and exactly, because it's not like every hotel in downtown San Diego is on this list. So if you're going to go to downtown San Diego just to catch all the other stuff, but you don't have tickets, then guess what? You should go to the ones that aren't part of the main list, whereas all these people that are trying to actually get, a hotel because they have tickets to Comic-Con and finding out you have tickets and then nowhere to stay is just awful.
It's an absolute nightmare. I also don't like the anxiety that yes, I got a Comic-Con ticket, I don't know where I'm staying or
It's the
if I'm
worst.
staying.
Yeah.
Because it's like, shit, what am I going to do? I mean, if I don't have a hotel, I can't go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's not like
So-
you can play the ridiculous, overpriced, outside of the Comic-Con block prices, because those are insane. Those are like in $1,000 a night
Yeah,
range.
I remember last year when we were trying to find ones, and I was just flipping through kind of like the third-party ones, and it was this great one for $1,000 a night.
And it's just like,
What?
nope.
What?
Now, if it has a jacuzzi in the front room, maybe.
Jacuzzi on the
Jacuzzi.
patio.
Oh,
So,
patio
that might be
jacuzzi.
worth it. I think
do think
one
kind
year I
of
want to do
the-
the full executive experience.
Gotta earn a lot more money than we do.
Maybe when you've made your YouTube millions.
Get those
Oh,
YouTube fun bucks.
Oh, YouTube fun books. Dude, the stupid God, that video, that Chung-Li video that we put up from E3 is back in the limelight because of the Street Fighter V launch,
Yeah.
Raffle.
which is how we're gonna roll into each individual week. So, who wants to go first? Let's talk about what we've been doing this week. And since this is a Saturday cast right now, it's you have the entire week to talk about. So who wants to go first? I'll do Adam since his name is under mine in the little list.
Sure. So I've actually had a kind of week of some new stuff, but mostly a lot of nostalgia, actually.
Perfect.
Go on.
So, as probably everybody on the internet knows by now, there has already been the closed. It's Fig. Is that the company that's doing the Kickstarter equivalent for Psychonauts 2?
Oh
Well, and-
yeah. They're the crowdfunding resource. That's also it's part crowdfunding and then part investment opportunity.
Yes, indeed. So, in light of all that, and in spite of the fact that I have some kind of trepidation about the outcome of that, I'm still excited for the possibility of another Psychonauts. So I thought, you know what? Let's see how the original Psychonauts holds up. You know what? It still holds up pretty good, actually. And the PC version, I would actually say, is now the definitive version of the game, because if you change the video just to upscale it to your native resolution of a modern monitor, the actual in-game graphics are nicer and crisper than even the cinematics at this point.
Huh.
See, that's the thing is that Tim Schafer legitimately makes good games.
But it's Tim Schafer.
But it's Tim Schafer, and you
He
don't
needs
know
to
where
be-
the money will go.
yeah. He
Right.
needs to be reined in by, the publishers or by, the powers that be in the industry that would otherwise keep a guy from just doing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
But the only kind of my last final thought about Psychonauts, though, is that it is a pretty amazingly tedious collectathon in the sense of there are literally thousands of collectibles.
Which personally just bothers you as a completionist.
gotta get 'em
But
all.
the thing is, I still completely love the game, including getting all the stupid collectibles.
Well,
Did
what
you
I
ever? Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, well, I was just something I noticed is when you play older games, if they're stylized, they hold up so much longer. And you can really see it in Psychonauts because it has its own tweak to it just by sharpening those graphics by going to the native resolution, it still holds and looks really neat. Whereas if you get in that same genre that didn't do more stylized, you feel it and you cringe.
Oh yeah, like that's kind of the advantage of their like really cartoony 3D graphics. Like not a lot of like 3D games have a kind of timeless look unless they have that cartoonish like charm, or if the aesthetic is just that good.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a big advantage of Psychonauts' design is that like it fits in its own world, but it also is like extraordinary in its own world.
Mm-hmm.
So then, as far as just to kind of continue on the topic of what I've been playing, really the only other things I've been playing are Card Wars for the Android, which is the Adventure Time deck building game, and I'm incredibly addicted to it. Luckily, I have not fallen prey to the microtransactions. I just, the initial 99-cent buy-in and the 99 cents for the expansion, and that's it. Otherwise, it's been, essentially free. There's some glitchiness to the game in terms of sometimes matches will drop out and you'll lose progress, but overall I'm kind of a sucker for these kind of deck building card games, and I love Adventure Time, so it's a good combo.
Yeah.
I would totally get into that more. Like I would probably get that game if I didn't like have the physical cards, and I'm like, I feel like that's like the weird barrier for me. I'm like, I already have these cards. I don't want a digital version of them.
So one interesting thing is that I haven't confirmed it yet. There's some code inputs on the digital game. Like they say to input codes. My presumption is that those are codes from the physical cards to get those cards in your game, but I'm not entirely sure. So it may be worth checking out since you own some of the cards.
Yeah, I'll crack open those boxes and see it. You can have my codes if you want them, just because I probably honestly will not play the app.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely take those.
Yoink.
And then the second half then of this question, what have you been watching? So obviously always Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon Turtles, although it's been on hiatus again for a couple of weeks, and it pains me. But the secondary thing to that is actually the new Muppets. Is it just called the Muppet Show?
I think it's just called the Muppets.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just the Muppets.
It's, some people when it first came out had said that they didn't feel like it had maybe as much heart as the Muppets typically do, but I think after a few episodes it's really come into its own and is a really good modern take on the Muppets. It's funny, it's well put together, it's really technically pretty amazing, some of the stuff they pull off.
Yeah! And I'm very happy with it because I like the way they updated the characters and brought in some of the Muppets that used to be kind of in the background Muppets and weren't so popular. But now they're
Yeah,
fun.
I agree.
Not a whole lot, but a couple. And I think that's nice.
Yeah. Well, and it's geared towards people that have grown up with the Muppets, and I think that's something that bothered a lot of people because you think Muppets, you think children's show. And
it was never a
not.
children's show. Though.
No, it was. I mean, the variety show. It was a variety show, and yeah, it had kind of a for everybody feel, but it wasn't really.
It
meant
wasn't a
for
children's
kids.
show.
Yeah, it wasn't for
It's
kids.
a
It wasn't
family
aired.
show.
So, I'll just chime in really quick. I love the Muppets new TV show, but where's Walter? They tell me that Walter from the movie, like the Muppet they introduced in the 2014 movie or 2013 movie,
Right.
whatever,
right.
like the reboot. He is apparently in the TV show, but I haven't seen him yet. Like, where is Walter?
Maybe he's like Waldo. He's just kind of in the background.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I haven't seen
That
it.
would be good.
Yeah, if he's been in there, I haven't noticed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now I feel like I need to rewatch these carefully.
Yeah.
You know what I think was like a completely pointless plotline though?
Walter?
Second pig.
Oh, yeah, in the TV show? Yeah,
Yeah.
if, what's her name? Denise?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
No.
Denise.
Okay, I feel like to make her a meaningful character, they have to have her in the show. And then, like, not having her in the show makes the relationship, it doesn't feel organic, or even that it was there to begin with.
Yeah, it
it's
definitely
more-
felt like it didn't matter.
Yeah, Kermit would bring her up, and then she'd show up to be girlfriend, and then disappear again,
Yeah, there wasn't really a point to her.
which is too bad.
Other than, oh no, we broke up Kermit and Piggy. Nah.
I feel like just having them broken up is fine by itself. You don't need a second girlfriend element.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they went with that, but whatever. The show's good, so
To make
I
Piggy
guess-
jealous, of course.
Well, yeah, to make Piggy jealous, and also to somehow manage to stop those two from banging in a closet somewhere.
Oh, and to make the Kermit's got a thing for pigs joke
Oh yeah, that too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're
in the
right.
pilot. Yeah.
Ah, Kermit.
This is good stuff.
Poor
So,
Kermit.
what else have you been doing this week, Adam?
Well, I mean, let's see. I mean, the only other thing, honestly, that I'm kind of excited about and have been playing a bit more of is my one MMO obsession currently, which is, Final Fantasy 14, currently in the Heaven's Ward expansion.
Yep.
The big thing is that there's the new patch coming out this Tuesday. That'd be the 23rd, and
Yes.
there's actually a lot of interesting stuff that I think is actually pretty unique for this MMO to do.
Ooh. I haven't
the
looked
big-
at the update yet, so this is all news to me.
Yeah, besides the stuff that's like the typical new bosses, new content kind of stuff, they're introducing something called the mentoring system. And essentially, it's characters that are new characters, so essentially less than 40 hours of game time, will have access to an invite-only chat and system that's basically there'll be 100 active mentors on a server at a time, and like 400 and some odd active trainees that can join this mentorship program. And
there's
you can
like a
ask
cap.
questions. Yeah, you can ask questions about anything really about the game and get some experience. So the chat room thing, though, that's just really one small part of it. The larger, more interesting thing is that they're adding instanced training modules into the game, both for low-level content like how to avoid AoE graphics, and then high-level content like are you doing your job correctly for this raid?
Wow, that
so
game
like
really
upgrading
needs
guild
it.
tests.
Yeah. So
At least the second
it's-
part definitely needs it. You know what?
So
Not all of it. They all need all of it.
yeah.
Give it to the players who are already max level 2.
So-
Seriously.
Sorry to quickly preface this. Adam, Heather, and Nita all play Final Fantasy 14 together. I used to play with them, but I kind of quit. So this is actually really interesting to hear, just like a kind of random stuff.
TR8R.
No, it's a good thing because like I was actually about to like part of the later segments. I was actually going to ask if there's like the big update is coming up for 14. How you guys felt about it?
Well, there it's in
Perfect.
it's in the week cast. Or
There you go.
that part. Yeah, there we go. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God,
think
I'm
it's a
so good at
relatively.
this.
I think it's a relatively positive thing. I think that this community is a community that can hopefully handle that with responsibly. I'm
Oh no,
sure.
it's gonna go to shit. You know it is.
Well, yeah. See, though, I
Oh,
know
man.
that's true, but apparently, though, mentors have the ability to kick any mentor or trainee from that channel
Eh.
temporarily. So,
Huh.
and when you do it, it displays to the entire rest of the channel who got kicked, who did the kicking, and why. So
Name
it's,
and shame.
Exactly. There's accountability.
I can really respect name and shame. Like, some people don't even want to name and shame when people are getting scammed out of money. And I'm just like, why? Their privacy doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, just go all in on it.
They're thieves and criminals, and people actually need to know about it. Come on.
Right.
For real.
Their name should be posted on a board.
I'm a big fan of name and shame. Shame is a very powerful punishment.
It is.
You would be.
I
So-
know how well shame works. So how about we move on to Heather's week?
Oh my goodness. So I have like the gamut of television, books, and video games.
Yes.
So I've gotten I love all kinds of television shows, and I tend to
All
really
kinds
like
of anime.
yeah. Well, I get into a lot of kind of the tween teen shows that are on like
You got your
CW, and now
Grimms.
the new free form because
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
ABC Family
Oh,
anymore.
oh, oh.
Yeah, they got to get grittier, and you can't have family in your title when you're grittier. it
Family's
doesn't
not
work.
edge enough.
Exactly. So one of the new shows I've gotten into is Shadowhunters, and that television series is based off of the book series The Mortal Instruments. And I have this compulsion that if something is based off of something else, I have to go find the something else and read or research all of that stuff before I come back to the thing.
You want to eat all the source material.
I do.
Yum,
You
yum.
know, with movies, I have to read the books. In television shows, like for Outlander, I know all of the book series. I've read all the book series before watching the television show. The same with Game of Thrones. It's just, I have to do it.
It's true. This is the most I've heard of her voice, literally all this week.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nose in a book.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I started the book series Thursday, and I'm already in book 3 to give you an idea.
Ugh, you need to speed up, dude. You're behind.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was Thursday, because I think I finished one book each day. So
Oh, wow.
Dang.
I was
You're
about
right
to
at
give you
my
that
speed.
challenge.
I have a hard time because they're just like really good movies to me, so I can't stop until I
Yeah.
get to the end. And then there's another one, so of course I have to start that. No. Anyways, so I really
She's
like the
reading
book
it right
series.
now.
I really like the television series. If you are a fan of the book series, don't expect that the television series is just going to be a remake of the book series, because it isn't.
Ooh. In a
yeah,
bad way or a good way?
In a good way, to me personally. I really like the changes that they made. The pacing is really good because you can't do a book pacing in those kind of television shows. They also made the characters older, which gives the characters a lot more agency than they do in the book series, which I really, really appreciate. Cuts a lot of red tape in some of the things that the characters do.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I really like it. It's a lot faster. It focuses more on all of the characters, whereas the book series tend to focus more on 3 characters: Clary, Jace, and Simon. And then there was just more characters that are now being brought to light in the television series, which I really, really like.
Oh, so they took out some of the stuff that might have been superfluous and added in stuff that might have been pretty good to see.
Yeah, they do something that I really appreciate, that when you're adapting a book series to a television series and you're not going to follow it, is that the vocabulary stays the same, which because there used to be a show called The Legend of the Seeker, and that was based off of the Sword of Truth series.
I
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
about
I
that.
remember that.
Yeah, and I loved the television series up until I read the book series. And
Oh.
it just hurt because they took essentially all of the vocab, all of the, bolded words you would use from the series, and then just made up what it was supposed to mean. It was so backwards that I couldn't watch the television series anymore, and it makes me sad because I really, really liked it.
Yeah, that's the most loosely based on I've ever experienced with a book to TV transition like that.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it was,
man.
yeah. And so with Shadowhunters and the Mortal Instruments, the vocab they take from the show or from the book is still accurate in the show. They tweak a lot of the characters a little bit. So if you're looking for like the exact same Jace, you're not going to get them. You're not, and so because they're older, honestly. So the characters almost look like they've evolved from the book series versions of themselves.
But in the same storylines.
Yeah, and it's and they're picking through from several books their storylines. So it's not like the first season is the first book. So even if you read the book series, you're gonna get new and interesting things from the television series.
Ah.
Yeah, which makes me happy because then I can enjoy both and not be, oh, I know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. I've been watching, I tried to watch a show called Wayward Falls because it's based off of a book series. And I read the book first, and that was kind of a mistake for trying to watch the show because the book is so much better.
I did luck out that I watched the television show first, so that might be also why I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it, because it looks like it's a really divide the middle, where people, as most common things that are based off of books, they're either really, really love it or really, really hate it.
Yeah.
So it depends on how diehard you are about the books and how mad you are that they don't follow it verbatim. But I'm not one of
Yep.
those people. Unless they break it. Unless it was just like, come on. That's
That isn't
awful.
even close!
Yeah. You did not make it different. You did not make it different in a good way. You just made it worse. Why would you
This
do that?
whole show is the ending of I Am Legend.
All over again twice.
2016.
Aw. Right. So that's the new television series I've been really into, and therefore I've been reading the book series. The other thing is that I'm a Tumblr, which yes, I'm one of those people.
A tum-tard.
Yeah, and so,
Were
so-
Tumblrinas, excuse you?
I don't know the weird terminology.
Stop oppressing us and our appropriate terms.
yeah, God.
God.
And
Yeah,
the
anyways.
appropriate terms.
Yeah. Well, I curate the crap out of my Tumblr, by the
Oh,
way.
God, me
It's
too.
mostly just
You
video
really
games.
have to, yeah.
Yeah, like you get a lot of people that complain about what's on their dashboard, and so you unfollow them, and then it's not on your dashboard anymore.
It's
Bam.
literally that easy.
Yeah. So mine's all video games and shows I watch, and just really dorky or funny things, and that's it. That's my Tumblr. But because I follow a lot of people that play a lot of video games, the Dreamfall chapters keeps showing up on my dashboard, and it looks really good, and people are really excited about it. So, and I wanted to play it, but it's part of a sequel to other games. The first one being The Longest Journey. So when I got my Christmas monies for Steam, I decided to pick it up because I want to start from the beginning. And people really love this series. You can see it in reviews and stuff like that. But since it's my first time playing, I do not have the nostalgia glasses.
My first time.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't gotten, like, I'm sure it gets better, but where I am now, it's the voice acting isn't all that great. There is my all-time favorite line, which is that the main character is looking at a poster of a football player, which is all in
Yeah.
terrible graphics, by the way, because this is a really old game.
Yeah.
And she goes something to the degree of, "I'm not into beefcakes. I'll take a nerdy guy anytime." Like,
Oh boy. Just
Like,
wish
uh-huh.
fulfillment all over the place.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know who wrote this.
I mean, graphically, I would say it's kind of like the Resident Evil original or like Resident Evil 2 level, where it's pre-rendered backdrops, but the very early sprite graphic, 3D, or not sprite,
Yeah.
very early 3D polygon graphics for the characters. So it's like oh, hey, that face is just a muddy something that
There's
kind
no
of has
faces.
a mouth.
Yeah, I was about to say they're frightening. They're freaking scary looking at them,
Oh.
particularly the further they are, because then it's just kind of this jumble of colors on this model of a head, and and it's great because the main character's best friend is supposed to be the most beautiful person ever, and because it's done in this graphics, she's just terrifying.
True beauty.
But
No.
Oh. So
yeah.
you've been playing The Longest Journey. I played Dreamfall, which is what happens after that game.
Yeah.
I've been playing Dreamfall with my older brother, and I actually really liked it. I kind of want to play The Longest Journey.
Well,
That was-
yeah. Well, because I'm sure I've heard the story is really, really good. And the bit at the very beginning I found fairly interesting because she's in a dream.
Yes.
Ooh.
And so that bit was interesting, but now I'm running around in like her everyday life, and everyone talks too much. Because this is before like curating what people say in video games.
Does it feel like it's the longest journey then?
It really does, because she walks in real time.
I'll
There's
tell you
no
what.
running, there's no jogging. She walks. I got up and literally got myself a drink, walked around a bit, and sat back down, and she was still walking to the destination I sent her to.
Yeah.
So we were actually going to play that game for the channel after Nina's review, like kind of like her experience with Dreamfall. And I don't know, I'm kind of like half and half about that.
It
so,
seems like it
yeah.
might not play well as a let's play, but
It
it
I
also
think if it was maybe edited down, it could be done.
But then
But-
it's, the entire point of the game is like the story and the way
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
feels. So
yeah.
I just don't think it'd work very well.
Well, and the
But it
other thing
might.
is
Who knows?
in lot of old games have been updated where you can play with the resolutions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have sliders. Yeah, this one don't. It's
Yeah.
just make it the best it can, and the best it can is really bad. So not on top of the funky figures, the type is not crisp. It is slightly blurry. and so it's I wear glasses. And so
Full
when
disclosure.
I'm playing, I really yeah, who doesn't at this day and age?
You serious?
And so it becomes physically painful to watch this game and read stuff on this game for too long. So between them talking forever in blurry type and then the never-ending walking, I'm just like, oh god, this hurts so much, and I don't care. I just want to get to the game.
That is the game.
You did it. You made it.
You did it.
It's like waiting for the goddamn Disney train in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh god.
So like there's a game called Black Mirror that's kind of similar. It's a kind of point and click like game where you walk around like mansions and shit. And that has the same problem where the PC port did not like consider like scaling, especially up to like 1080p or anything like that. So like that game is just a travesty to play. Like the cutscenes play in a different resolution. Sometimes they don't even play correctly. Like they play on another window elsewhere as the game like is frozen.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh my god.
Speaking of those kind of old point and click adventure games and sort of the more, these more, I won't say casually paced, but like slower paced. Have you heard the new, or maybe it's just new to me, term going around now called walking simulator?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard that, but I already know what games you're talking about. We're talking about like that one puzzle game that just came out, and Gone Home,
and Myst, and yeah.
Oh yeah, Myst, and
Myst.
In many ways, I guess Firewatch.
I was about to say like Firewatch was gonna be something I wanted to bring up briefly.
Well, look,
in
it
a little
came up
bit.
naturally.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we did. But we're not done with Heather's week. What else have you done?
That's the majority of it. I've
Nailed
been
You did
it. The only other show that I've been I've been watching a couple other shows. New shows, the Shannara Chronicles and Magician. I've also been watching, which are really good. Both of them, I highly recommend them. And then
Sorry, quick disclosure about Shannara Chronicles. The opening though is the most MTV bullshit you've ever seen.
it's true. It's so true.
Is it MTV the real life bad, or like MTV? What is it? Cribs.
It's like wanting to be cool and indie, but it's so just
terrible.
Overproduced and
Yeah.
Oh, so what you're saying is like at the end of the era where MTV was putting out music videos.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I get you.
It's also been fully blown MTV'd up because apparently, again, in the book series, they were teenagers. Yeah, they're not anymore. And
Oh boy.
yeah, no.
Oh my.
And they have very MTV outfits, which meaning a lot of revealing outfits. Warrior females in strapless shirts. I mean, it's made of leather, so clearly
Armor.
clearly
Shut the
it's
fuck up,
armor.
It's armor.
There's an anime out where like there's the world has like an enchantment on it or something like that, where like all female armor, like the more scantily clad they are, the more powerful they are.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
There's
why
an
don't they
entire
just-
series about this.
Why don't they just run around naked then? Is there some kind of clause about that?
Well, you gotta have some
Yeah.
of the armor. It just turns out they're
Exactly.
just bracelets.
As long as you cover just a little bit, you get super powerful. Although in the series they do fight a lot of like slimes and stuff like that, things that like rust off their armor.
Isn't that a
Oh,
card in
man.
Munchkins?
Of course they do.
What isn't a card in Munchkins, honestly?
Yeah.
That's totally a card, Munchkins.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Every
Alright.
time I see those, I just keep thinking about, because they're always in leather. I'm like, leather doesn't breathe. I know it's supposed to help you, but since it's not covering anything important, it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah. And it's not even hardened.
Yep.
So it's
Oh, and then
essentially
you can't-
useless.
And then you can't forget the shoes,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is something that drives me bonkers even in Shadowhunters. One of the characters is, of course, very comfortable with her body, air quotes. So all of her clothes are very, very skimpy. Not that I have any problem with that, honestly, because it does kind of fit the personality of the character they have. But they are also putting Carly, the main character, who of course isn't, in those outfits. But the biggest thing is they keep also putting her in these ridiculously high heels.
Oh my.
And I mean,
You mean
part of the
fight
reason
heels?
yeah, like they're bananas. And part of the reasons they do that is because, of course, the actors are short and the male actors are tall, and so to get them all in the same shot, it's the easiest way to do it.
You know what?
But
If Elijah Wood and Kylo Ren can stand next to each other in a movie, well, dang it, I don't see what's wrong with it.
Right? Like, I'll take the one that's she's been doing this forever, so of course she run around in whatever the hell she wants. But Carly is supposed to be new to this world, and I guarantee you she has not learned how to run and fight in those pinpoint heels. I guarantee it.
This is starting to sound like an anime, honestly.
Yeah. Sorry, my joke there was both the names were incredibly wrong for who was in the movie.
Yeah.
First of all, it wasn't Elijah Wood, it was Harry Potter. And second of all, it's clearly
Daniel Radcliffe.
it's clearly
yeah, it's
just
Daniel
Kylo.
Radcliffe. Yeah.
I'm
I wanna
sorry,
see that movie.
Matt. Anyways.
Honestly,
So-
I had no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
But let's roll into Nita's week, I guess.
Oh, okay. My week's pretty light. I have not done too much this week. I've watched, like, some freaking Lucifer, and then I tried to play more Metal Gear, but then I got sick.
Oh.
Yay! I still
But
haven't
Metal
finished Metal Gear 5. I haven't yet. And it upsets me because I love it. But that's why it's taking me so long, because I'm trying to do each and every side quest, but I want to get them right. And if I want to get them right, that means I have to restart them at least 5 times. Because it's
Yep.
not enough to win. I have to win the way I want to.
Sounds like BioWare games. Every time you upset your companion, you reboot or like you go to a later save so that you can get the right answer that you want because you don't want to upset them.
Well, it's kind of like that, except, I accidentally sliced open a guy's throat.
Oops.
Oopsie.
No
he
kill
had
run, but
good
you've got plenty
stats.
of kills.
I needed him for my base.
I think the biggest thing that happened is, like, last night I found my neighbor's dog in the middle of the street, in the middle of the night. And he's been, your poor puppy, and he's been hanging out at my house because the neighbors aren't home.
We're gonna see if they will take him back today, so
Yeah.
hopefully
How's
he'll
Scout
be happy
liking the
again.
dog?
Yeah, he didn't enjoy having to hang out with us. Poor little guy. But he's
He's
very
very eager to go home.
Yes, he is very eager. And he also wants to eat all the cat food. So,
I'm sure
Oh
Scout's
God.
yeah, but my week's been pretty dang late.
Pretty dank light.
Well,
Uh,
I also started watching Lucifer too, and that show amuses me
I
greatly.
know. It's like it's based on like more DC comic stuff, and then yeah, it's weird. Like the comic book shows that I'm watching right now aren't like the superhero comic book shows, which is what I've been asking for years. But for some reason, the ones that are on right now, I'm not into them. I can't get into them. I don't know why.
You mean Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't even watch Supergirl unless I want to download it illegally, and I'm not into that right now. Thank you. I have money. I want to buy things. Second of all, I don't even know where I was going.
Beautiful,
Oh,
you did it.
Anyways, the point is that I'm watching like iZombie and Lucifer and like comic book shows like that where probably most of the people watching them don't even realize they're comic book shows.
Sure.
Well, hey, hang on.
iZombie is
iZombie, like iZombie's not actually a comic book show, but it is basically based off of Chew, right?
Well, it's not based off Chew, no. I was saying that in many ways it reminded me of Chew.
Well, yeah, but like to the point where it feels like it was supposed to be Chew, but then they couldn't get the license for it.
Well, in the beginning.
Now it's
But,
its own magical snowflake self. Although I'm sad because if I remember correctly, this is their last season. I don't think they've been renewed.
Really?
Mm,
Huh, interesting. I mean,
That
what,
show seems
last
alright.
year? Or no, I guess it would have been 2 years ago at Comic-Con. They were hyping the hell out of that show. The
Yeah.
advertisements were everywhere.
I think in a lot of ways though, like the only thing that's kind of bad about the show is that the name iZombie does not resonate very well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know why they pushed for that too, because it's
Yeah,
like it's not
hold on.
actually like cell
Wait.
phone pop culture thing. It's just like this is I eat brains, I gain personalities, I solve crimes.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's a perfect show. And boom, you need to shut the fuck up. I was correct. It was an adaptation of the comic book series of the same name.
Oh, okay, never mind then. That's
Yeah,
my bad.
see, I'm not a stupid dummy. I know things.
I swear you were the one who told me that it was actually supposed to be based off of a comic book show, but then didn't quite get the license or something. I apologize.
Nah. No,
Yeah,
you're confusing it from when I was talking about how it reminded me of Chew, and some of the things that they were doing just felt like they wanted to do Chew, but then they didn't. So, I think you might have gotten confused.
I still stand by my point though that the name is not very well articulated.
Oh no, the name's stupid. I love the show.
Yeah. Well, it's in that thing here. It actually put me off for a while because I'm just like.
And
I
it
know.
goes as far to do the lowercase I, which is obviously the
even
Apple
worse.
derivative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, come on, couldn't you have at least done like I, comma zombie, because it's like a play on the, it's kind
Yeah.
of a more Shakespearean or a more like literary take.
Maybe. That might
Okay.
be too much for the show, though.
A little too much.
I googled, and so far it's actually not. So far, I haven't seen anything where they're just like, I don't know yet. It could be or not. So we might get lucky and get another season because
Well, according to the Wikipedia, according to the Wikipedia, it's just fucking nothing. There you go. You did it.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
Burning news. Hot off the presses.
We
no
don't
one
know
knows.
shit.
Hot off the Wikipedia. The months-old Wikipedia. Years-old Wikipedia.
But yeah, so then with the power of Netflix, honestly, any show that's flagging needs to hit Netflix before they decide to cancel it.
Oh
like,
god,
it's a
yeah.
really good show, yeah, especially.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I'm still angry about Almost Human, but we're not gonna bring it up. It was so long ago. It was like 3 years ago. I know.
Oh, it hurts. It
I
hurts.
still feel it.
I really
still feel
like
it
Carl
deep
Urban.
inside.
He's great.
Ugh.
Anyways,
Yes.
yeah, so my week was super shitty and light. So let's hear. You want to talk about yours, Boom?
Yeah, mine.
Give us
okay.
the insight, Boom. I want to hear
Most of
what's
my
up in
week
your
has
brain.
been all about Street Fighter V's launch, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's just say that multiplayer, it works great. It runs online. There's nothing else to do but online multiplayer. Oh, and again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I've also been playing Dragon's Dogma a lot on the PC. Dark Arisen got re-released.
Oh shit, it's like constant.
Oh my god, that game is so good. At 60 FPS, it's like a completely different game. And also, everyone's talking about it again. It's a weird world I'm living in where Dragon's Dogma, was kind of a sleeper hit. And in a lot of ways, Dragon's Dogma is actually, a beta for, the next generation of Monster Hunter games when it came out. And now, everybody loves it again. It's all up in everyone's headlines. It's like that weird sleeper hit that actually kind of became a little mainstream. So really enjoying that game. I'm also been kind of catching up on some anime and stuff. I'm a big fan of the Monogatari series, which is like Bakemono is the first one.
Sure.
It follows the adventures of Araragi Koyomi, who's a vampire, but he's getting over it.
It's no big deal anymore.
No big
Is he
deal.
being I got better kind of thing, or
No, so over spring
meta.
break, he got turned into a vampire, but now he's he's getting over that. As in, he's slowly not becoming a vampire. It's great.
so it's getting over it like a cold.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Pretty much.
The
But
vampire flu.
It follows the kind of his misadventures with all these people who each have some sort of it's like a social anxiety or some sort of problem that they have that manifests in some sort of crazy yokai monster thing. The first girl, Senjo Gahara, her thing is that she has no weight, and then the series kind of elaborates on what that means and all this other stuff. It's a bizarre series, but it's really good. I'm actually catching up on the last 2 seasons, so it's 6 seasons down or something like that. And
So
it's-
is it more, for those of us that aren't familiar, is it more a 2 spook show, or is this more comedic, or is it kind of a mixture of both?
Okay, so Here, let me kind of
Slice of
pull up
life.
the writer. It's kind of like the Talk the Anime followed by slideshows. So if you guys are familiar with Studio Shaft, they're well known as like kind of like a weird animation studio that kind of like does almost Art Deco style like anime.
Mm-hmm. It is a very pretty show. I can't get into it. I think it's boring as hell.
90% of the show is like, okay, for instance, the second episode of the first season is just Araragi and Senjo Gahara just sitting at a bench talking for 20 minutes. And there's like, and the entire, like, visually speaking, like, kanji and like clips of thoughts show up on the screen, and like the camera angles like pan around and spin around, but in general they just do not move from those spots. And that's pretty much the entire show.
It's just so weird and really boring for me. I can't be taken in by, you know, what they're saying or anything. But he loves it.
Oh, I love it. It's the kind of show where they like run through kind of like human emotions and stuff like that, and like it's a show where they solve 90% of their problems by talking, and I think that's like
kind of
hilariously
take,
interesting.
You mean instead of misinterpreting and then arguing and then sad things happen until it's finally revealed that that's not what they meant?
Yeah. Okay, so what's unique about this show is that will happen on occasion, but usually like a super circumstance will prevent them from like chatting it out until like either the next episode or until a certain event is resolved. But yeah, it's a weird show in that like most of the time they just talk through their problems. And even when there's like a monster that shows up and like punches people or whatever, eventually like Araragi or one of the other girls will just be like, "Hey, let's talk about this."
Let's talk it out.
You know, that's actually kind of refreshing in a way then, because I mean, you know, not every problem can be solved through punching. Many probably can.
I don't know. I think you can solve almost anything with punchings.
Get the punch on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
punch.
To give you guys an idea, the author of the light novel series that this show's based off of is Nisio Isen, and I think he's known for this series, and he's also known for I believe Madoka. He's also the writer for Madoka.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Oh wait, maybe not. I might be thinking something else.
All right. Well,
but
I'll get
anyways,
the
like,
facts straight.
Dude.
Yeah, I know. It's Studio Shaft, and Studio Shaft, like, they pick really strange, like, animes to, like, just make and stuff. Like, they're also known for Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. Oh,
yeah.
But, what is it? Nisio has also created another series that I really adore, and it's called Katana Gatari, and it's about a guy who's incredibly powerful, and some chick who works for like the government, and then they're trying to collect these like swords that are like really strong. And that's another show where 90% of the show is just talking and just talking through your problems, figuring it out, and then like eventually there's like a 3-minute fight scene, and then it's like more talking.
I just want one where they start fighting and then someone's just like, you know what? Let's just talk it out, man. And the monster's like, whoa.
I feel like that happens in a fucking
It does,
Monogatari.
In one of the characters has like a monkey paw arm, and her name is Kambaru. She's like one of my favorite characters.
That was the exact episode I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's so her thing is that like at one point in the episode, like they confront her and figure out that she's the like what they call the rainy day devil or whatever. And so Araragi's like, I can take care of this. And then he goes up to her, and then they basically just start fighting. And she kicks his guts all over the place, and there's this big gory fight scene. And then at the very end of it, he's like, hang on, can we just talk about this? And she's like, okay.
Perfect.
But he's fine, because remember, he was a vampire and he's getting over it.
Yeah, it's fine though.
So
it's fine.
eventually one of those fights is like, I think I got over the cold.
There, in later seasons, like 2 or 3 seasons later, there's a part where like Araragi's not around, so the other girls are just kind of like trying to solve problems, but they're not quite used to talking it out, so they like resort to like physical violence for a while, and then eventually they kind of like bear down and go, okay, we should probably try talking.
Gotta work on them communication skills.
Yeah.
That's basically the show. It's really bizarre. It's also got a lot of like a tremendous amount of fan service in it, but like it's got fan service while still having some depth. Like it's a kind of like a weird thing.
Well, you've intrigued me. What else is going on in Boomland?
In Boomland. I've been buying a lot of games because I buy shit tons of games. Nothing in particular though. Like that's pretty much where I've been spending my time. Dragon's Dogma, Street Fighter, and catching up on some anime shit, whatever. Gosh, I'm trying to think of anything else I've been doing. I don't think there's a hell of a lot.
So you're not as in
I
depth
think,
in pop culture as
you
I am.
you had yourself there a few moments ago a pretty good segue into our next topic, but you kind of dropped the ball
Yeah.
on that one.
I
Totally
did.
did.
I meant to keep going.
Yeah,
I was
then
actually
we talked about other stuff instead. It was great.
This is what bullet points are for. Like you do,
We
and
have
then
them. We promise we have them. They're right here.
Well, okay. Let's just talk about some of the gaming happenings and gaming news and shit.
Oh,
So-
I want to go. I want to go.
Hey, well, hang on. I actually had
Oh.
a thing I wanted to start off with because originally, we were gonna have our friend Anna on the show, and she was in one of the Comic-Con unboxing videos, and we were gonna talk about the closure of GameTrailers recently, which happened I think like last week or this last week or so. But GameTrailers.com actually has closed its doors. It's shut down and everything like that. So
Yeah, that's
that
right.
that really sucks. Like they were one of like my dream jobs. Like I still watch their content like actively. So like when I heard that, I was like, I don't know, I was really upset. But GameTrailers is for those who don't know, it was one of the earliest kind of like pioneers in like high quality like video productions about video games that were online exclusively. Except they also had like some reach on TV. I think they had something on Tech TV or
That's
when
correct.
it became G4.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
It's also kind of where like Jeff Keighley kind of like became like more well known as a host, and where a lot of other big names kind of like rose to stardom.
Mhm.
In particular, though, the company who owned them got bought by somebody called I think like Defy Media, and when that happened, they basically gutted the staff, and so like kind of like using like whatever they had left, GT continued for a while, but finally they've decided to kind of like kick them to the curb, which in a business sense kind of like, it makes sense because a lot of the content that they're producing is effectively what you can produce as an independent on YouTube right now. It's just that like for whatever reason they had kind of like a more corporate side on that front, with of course better equipment and everything like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
but
mean-
yeah. Oh, sorry, go on. Do you guys do anything on GameTrailers? Have you guys ever been to GameTrailers, or do you guys know anything about them?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a thing that I frequented pretty regularly. I agree with you that they were pretty cutting edge and they were really a big name and a pioneer in, like you said, creating online content related to gaming that was actually of high quality. But I think that, sort of like you mentioned already, in this day and age, it's a bit anachronistic that you have like these big productions, backed by a company just to do video game content. I mean, there's such a wealth of self-produced or kind of more small independent groups doing
Cough.
this video game content.
That is actually the weird part about the YouTube space. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, it may not be necessary for them to exist anymore. I do think it's sad to see like a big name like that leave the scene, but I think that they paved the way for really kind of the modern gaming landscape when it comes to online content, and I think that sort of the popularity and the longevity of these smaller content providers is really based on sort of the groundwork that these bigger companies laid down.
Yeah, it's well, for instance, that's an excellent point. I super agree. And like, if you guys are curious, what is it? Screw Attack started as a GT production.
I
So
love
did
Screw Attack.
yeah, and so Monty Oom's Ruby series also started on. I think they were first premiered on GameTrailers. That was also when he did his Dead Fantasy series, which was a Dead or Alive Final Fantasy crossover. If you guys remember those videos from way back when. But all that content,
Oh man,
kind of
that's some blast from the past.
Oh yeah, I always cringed kind of at the crossover idea, but I really like the cinematography and like the action sequences, so it was kind of like I just had to kind of grit and bear it. But yeah, like so yeah, Dead Fantasy for the late Monty Oom, which by the way I think Ruby is having a third season coming out now, so if you guys are interested in that, go check that out. But in general, like because the staff is so reduced, like I'm gonna miss a lot of names, but I feel like certain people from them is gonna be fine. Like Kyle Bosman, Brendan Jones, those guys will probably be fine, honestly. Like, they can produce their own content. Kyle Bosman can probably do some sort of web series on YouTube. Brendan Jones, I'm sure, will probably follow suit. It's people like Daniel Bloodworth, who I'm not really sure if they're going to have a great place out in the wild world, but I guess he's an editor-producer nowadays, so it's like, I'm sure they'll all be fine. Ian Hinck with Elyse Willems used to do a show called Mandatory Update that I was a big fan of. And eventually, Elyse was either let go or left GT before they got closed down. And she joined the people at Funhouse with her husband. And so she's got kind of like prospects there. I'm not sure about Ian, though. I'm not sure where he's going to end up. And I'm sure I just listed off a ton of names you guys don't know anything
Well, I mean,
about.
I think that you're probably right that a lot of these people probably have opportunities to find work with other online collaborations, either through websites directly or through YouTube, collaborations. So I don't think it's necessarily the end of the content creation team from GameTrailers. It's just kind of the end of GameTrailers as a product.
I think this is a very good segue into WTFU. Where's the free or Where's the free
Where's
usage?
the free use?
Where's the
This
free
is
usage?
yeah. When talking about fairness and fair use in particular with YouTube, especially, it's been kind of like a weird thing that's been trending because it's a problem that's been brewing lately, and I'm sure you guys have heard about this as well. It's the hashtag WTFU.
Yep.
Or wait, did I say that right?
Yes,
You're
did.
correct.
Oh, okay.
That is correct.
It's a hard one to say. I'm not cool with that tip. It's not catchy, damn it.
Yeah, it's not quite as catchy as I want it to be, but at the same time, like it's like it works. But yeah, content creators are kind of like they're having a lot of problems with content ID claims. The automated systems on YouTube are a huge issue. There's a lot of problems, and part of it too is that the sheer volume of content that gets uploaded daily. Like I think something like every minute 1,000 minutes is uploaded or something like that. But like there's not a good answer and there's not like a cheap answer to any of this, but there needs to be an answer, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that YouTube only works by their content providers. So if you keep screwing enough of them over, there's always a company in the background ready to take over where YouTube leaves off. I mean,
Well, yeah, but like Vimo was supposed to be that, and that didn't work out.
But then Vimo did the weird thing where they like banned all game videos, and it's just they like went full music.
They went the wrong way.
Yeah, they went in another direction. And unfortunately, YouTube's install base is so big, and also because they're connected to Google, one of the biggest search engine ever.
right.
It's like it sucks that we're kind of stuck in this space because there's no real competitors. Twitch is a different kind of content split, but at the same time, it's like even the videos on like VODs, like videos on demand on Twitch, are not the same as a YouTube production.
Right.
Well, I think kind of to your point about the fact that this is a Google-owned company, to me, that's like, okay, you're Google-owned. You have the money and manpower to at least solve this problem for your content creators. So why don't they just put more, again, manpower and money behind this? I know that YouTube is a money-making endeavor for them. It's even because they're able to make money for certain content creators. So that's the only way it could work, is if it was, making hand over fist money for YouTube.
So that's so another big problem with this all is that a lot of smaller channels that are getting hit with the same copyright claims and stuff like that don't have a good defense because they are small and they don't have a lot of like the fan clout that a lot of the bigger channels do. And that's a huge problem because it means that like content creators, like, it's not intentional, but it's like if you have a big enough following, you can make a stink about it and get your stuff like figured out, or even get YouTube to pay attention to you. But if you're a smaller content creator, it's next to impossible to get these claims like off of your system.
Well, I'm gonna use that to lead right into the thing that I really want to talk about. Boom brought up the fair use stuff to me, and I thought that would be a very lovely way to segue into a thing that has happened on YouTube recently. So have you guys ever heard of Pokemon Reorchestrated?
Yes,
No.
I've heard about it vaguely.
okay, it's a YouTube channel where there is a guy, and he makes very nice Pokemon, well, remakes of Pokemon songs in a nice orchestrated kind of fashion. They're very pretty songs. They're wonderful. And so Nintendo basically put strikes on 3 of their videos, so his entire YouTube channel is completely decimated. And...
hang on. Sorry, it's the Pokemon Company, not Nintendo.
Oh, Pokemon content. There we go. See, boom fixed me. But yeah, so that's gone, and he had 51,000 subscribers or 55,000 subscribers or something huge. He was making his money off of that, and this is the big thing. He had the licensing rights to sell this music.
What?
Yes, he has the licensing rights to the music that he has made, these covers of Pokemon songs. But Pokemon they striked 3 of their videos, so YouTube took it down.
Yeah, the fact that it isn't you're flagged and then now you need, you're going to be transferred to some type of moderator to kind of hash this out. It's just nope. Gone.
Well, yeah, but normally when you get a video flagged, it'll go off and then you have a chance to plead your case and that's all fine. But the problem is that this happened over the course of a couple days, I think it was. I'm not 100% on that. I could be making that up, but I'm pretty sure what happened is that happened over a couple days and he didn't really have a chance to fight against it. And, YouTube has that very strict 3 strikes and you're done.
Well, and that's it. It's that it shouldn't have been strikes because he had 3 separate videos. It should have been this is your first strike, this is the first time we contacted you about this, now hash it out kind of thing.
No,
you have 6 videos that we consider copyright infringement, and so because all 6 videos that you already have up there, we're gonna ding you all at once. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
So the big thing to me is exactly what you're all kind of already stating, is that it's essentially the strike is first and then the investigation happens. It really needs to be the other way around. They can put a hold on the specific video, sure, as far as hey, this video can't be viewed for this time. That maybe makes some bit of sense, even that is questionable. But the fact that it can shut down your entire account before you've even had the opportunity to do anything about it. The strike should not hit your account until they've determined that you've infringed.
So that is actually a core fundamental issue with the system. But also, let me kind of go in a little bit deeper for you guys. So what happens is if you get a claim on a video, you don't have a strike yet. But what happens is if you dispute the claim, if the other person has the right, they have the right to give you an issue, a channel strike. And so what happens is when you get your first strike, you lose the ability to challenge claims. It is a devastating thing to get 1 strike onto your system because it restricts a ton of stuff about your channel. You can't make videos over 10 minutes long. There's all a huge laundry list of things that you can't do. So what happened was, I believe he would probably try to dispute a handful of them at the same time, thinking they would be fine, and then just got those 3 strikes, and then his channel is just terminated now.
Wow.
It's a shitty system. It's awful. And like I said, most of this is on the automated end, even.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the part that makes no sense, and that's where they need to put more of their manpower and money in, is actually resolving these claims in a way that is, possible to resolve them without immediately hurting the content creator.
Well, exactly, because that's where the content is. Because these are your content creators. This is why YouTube is making money.
Yeah.
So if you're essentially destroying your product, because that's what it is. I mean, yes, the ability to put the videos up is the product, but that the reason that people come to YouTube is to see these videos. So while the videos that they want to watch aren't up, then they're not coming.
What are they going to do? They're not going to see your ads. They're not going to get your revenue. Damn.
Exactly.
But then you do have to remember that YouTube is under a lot of pressure due to copyright laws. YouTube, by law, has to be the one to search for these things. That means because it's physically impossible for a human being to do it. It's impossible for hundreds of human beings to possibly look through all these videos. It's just not possible. So they have to do it automated. But the automation just isn't a fair way to do it, you know?
Yeah,
it makes it so that they automatically side with who has the most money.
Yeah, I mean, automation to flag videos makes sense. Automatic systems to strike channels does not.
I mean, technically the strike does go through kind of like a pseudo appeals process, but the appeals system is like really, really broken, and it doesn't matter because it's virtually unusable.
But yeah, it's pretty much whoever has the biggest money then. The biggest money, yes.
The biggest
I'm shocked.
Another thing too is that if you have copyrighted material on your channel, instead of just like striking it, they can also take the revenue from those videos.
Yeah.
And even if it's a false claim, you don't get that money back. It's just theirs.
Oh yeah, and it's especially great because people were doing that and you know, having claims over videos when they didn't have any claim at all. So they just got revenue from these people's hard work for like, you know, a day or two.
Wow.
You know, so they got like, you know, several thousand views worth of revenue that they did not deserve because they went through YouTube's bullshit like that.
Wow.
I don't know if it still happens. It was happening like a year ago.
Big companies can still kind of do that type of stuff. Like,
well, yeah,
they have options for it. So, and really quickly, for anybody listening, and we are very much paraphrasing a lot of these systems, kind of getting to like the root causes, like the end results. There is slight steps in between, but in general, those are non-existent. And if you're a smaller channel, you have basically no chance of getting any resolution that's positive in your favor.
No, you can't fight. Like, even the big channels, obviously, even the big channels can't do it, so...
What do the little ones have? Any hope?
What are the little ones supposed to do? Jack fucking nothing, that's what.
Yeah, that wheels all the way around back to, like, where is the fair use? Because a lot of these videos also fall under, like, the legal definitions of fair use.
Exactly.
Given that YouTube is a private platform, it still should be noted that, like, they have claimed that they care about fair use and stuff like that.
Well, that's just it, though, is the way YouTube's set up. It's, yes, it is a private platform, but they're also creating business contracts with people. They've created a system in which lots of people are doing business. And you can't just, you know, toss somebody out of their fucking job with no warning or a fair look at what the problem is, you know? It's just not how you do business.
Well, I wonder, because they probably consider it like contract labor separately, so actually they can.
Yeah, they can, but it's bullshit.
It is bullshit. It's a huge problem. I don't know that we have a real solution other than YouTube needs to invest some of the money that it makes into expanding on this, giving
And
people a
solving the
chance.
problem,
Yeah, I think giving people a chance to talk to a real person and ask what is going on, I think would be highly valuable and highly desirable. And I think that's the one thing that we really, really want, actually.
It's just so hard to do because there's
then it goes
so
back to the
many
fact
videos.
But, like, can you even imagine how many videos per day are getting flagged, let alone striked? I mean...
Yeah, but I mean,
I
guess
just watched all of the Great British Bake Off.
I mean, the question
that's
about
true.
that,
So
though,
you
is
admit
that,
to illegal behavior.
No, I don't.
So, yeah,
said I
these
watched
videos
it.
get flagged, but the question is, though, how many of these channels actually reach out to YouTube to do something about the fact that it was flagged?
That's another thing too, is that the built-in systems on YouTube don't give you a good option to get that reach out. The best you can do is dispute a claim, and even then you fill out like a 200-word thing that says this ain't real.
Yeah, and see, that's
Wow.
that's kind of my point, is that clearly the only people that are going to dispute the claims are going to be the people that probably have a legitimate reason to dispute the claim. So there's probably less resources needed to dispute genuine claims than really the number of, you know, activities there are regarding both flagging and banning videos.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot more of the people that are using this as a form of income.
Yeah.
And so those are the ones that are go, you know, the person that threw up their kids video that happened to use a song that has been flagged for copyright infringement, they're probably not going to really do much about it.
Have you guys heard about that lawsuit, by the way? That there's a video of some kid dancing to a song and they got sued by the company. The old music. Yeah, it's like a 30-second clip. I don't remember what the case is, but it's actually relevant to this in a way.
Yeah.
You know, that's
nuts.
just not cool. You could just do a cease and desist.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just a kid dancing. What is that going to do to your company? Nothing. They're not competing with
anything,
your
it's
company.
going
They're
to-
celebrating it.
Yeah, if anything, it's gonna get people to like think about that song.
It's
That
going to
always
get
is
stuck in
something
their
that-
heads. They'll enjoy it.
Exactly.
But
That's
suing
always
some
something.
kid who's dancing to your song on YouTube is a great way to make you look like a fucking asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah, and make you instantly lose those potential sales from people that see that video and go, "Hey, that's a pretty great song. Maybe I'll get that thing."
Yeah. Like, honestly, things like that only help, and analysts agree.
Well, and that's
Oh.
it, because people will pay for content that they like, but they have to know about the content first.
Yeah.
And so
And it's hard to know about the content if you won't let any of it out because you're guarding it with your greedy little money-grubbing hands.
This is
Sorry
Let
to
us have a peek.
backpedal on that one a bit. I guess the woman had to sue Universal in 2007 because of the takedown notice for a 29-second clip of her two children at home dancing to a Prince song. Like that got taken down because of
My God.
violating copyright. Like, are you kidding? Like, the quality of the video is also kind of like pretty bad, you know?
Right,
It's not
'cause
like you can
it's-
clearly hear the song.
yeah, it's a kid. You know, it's about her kids. That's what it's up for. Is look
Yeah,
at my
so-
kids, aren't they cute?
It's a really messy subject, and honestly, a lot of these measures that YouTube has like are designed to protect itself from like getting sued or whatever. But it just it's so broken that it just does not work out very well.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Like
Yeah,
I can
and-
appreciate the pickle they're in, but
Yeah, I mean, I'll make one thing clear, and I'm sure we're all in agreement here, is that if it's up illegally, it probably really shouldn't be on YouTube.
That's
I mean-
true.
Oh yeah, I get that totally. But like, even shows that get uploaded like on YouTube usually have some sort of filter on there or something like that that makes it so it's harder to detect, and therefore like you end up kind of missing a lot of things. Like for instance, the Great British Bake Off is all up there.
Well, not all of it. And I mean,
Enough
I
of
wouldn't
it,
have
you
watched
know?
it there. I watched
But
it
here-
legally.
I
I mean-
want to pay for my British television.
So,
at
to
one
that
point.
Me too.
You can't.
To that point,
I want to.
though, there are actually some shows, like for instance, Good News. It's the Russell Howard kind of comedy news program. He has his official Good News YouTube channel that has full episodes for countries that don't get that show in any other way. So there's ways for companies to put out their content in a legal, smart, thoughtful way that a lot of companies just aren't utilizing.
Agree.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. There's still a lot of just kind of stuck in their ways. This is how we've always done it, and by doing that, they're really not taking advantage of the resources of how people take in media these days. It's through the internet. It's through YouTube. Like, guarding it for your area is just hurting you. Other people want to see this, and so making it more available means you're gonna get more money. So I don't know.
It's a weird world we live in, where like I don't know, changing with the times is scary. It's too scary, guys. It's too
Just
much.
too scary. Y'all want to switch over to some good stuff? Some
Yeah, I
good
was gonna-
things?
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
I was
just
going to mention-
wad all over.
Yeah.
I was going to
We
mention
just
that
spent like
let's
10
move on
minutes
from this.
shitting all over YouTube.
Well, okay,
As we put this on YouTube.
What?
Yeah.
it's fine. They love
It's
it.
fine.
So one other thing I do want to mention though is that in November of last year, YouTube did do a goodwill thing where they had a big announcement how they were going to start creating a fund to try to help protect content creators from
Yeah.
these kind of things. However, we haven't
Nice.
really seen much about that. But like
Oh.
Jim Sterling's channel, Super Bunny Hop, both those guys, like I think we're on the list of people that they're actively trying to help and stuff. But again, like those are medium to larger sized channels, and it's kind of one of those weird things where like we haven't seen much about this, but YouTube has made a statement about it back in November.
Let's
So
hope- let's
Well,
Well,
hope
at
Yeah.
least
they're
I guess
true to
it's
that.
acknowledging the problem and trying to band-aid it until they find other solutions, I guess.
Or
Mhm.
like put the thin sort of holographic veneer of a band-aid on it.
Exactly. Mhm. Well, it
But-
beats completely going tough kitty paws. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Well,
So let's move on. This we can talk about this forever. Let's
we could talk
continue
about it
on.
forever.
So
let's talk about some good things. I have a tiny bit of news that I think that Adam and Heather would be more interested in than I am. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is being remade by fans using the Unreal Engine 4. So it might look amazing.
So
And
just-
and it's not going to be taken down because it's not going to be charged for the game, and EA and Disney pretty much they haven't said anything.
I don't know. Like I would hold your breath on that. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one just because
I know, but it's
Disney tends to shit all
Yeah,
over
they
like fan
do.
projects.
sure.
But this has been like in the works for a while apparently, and a lot of people know
okay,
about it.
This is one of those situations where if you have a cool like project like this, don't announce it until you've done it and it's out there.
Yeah, I
you
guess
know?
Right.
Because then at
True.
least some people get it before they shut you down.
Yeah, it does look gorgeous though. Like the lighting is way better. It's got really.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
looks really good.
Unreal 3.
The one
God, I
thing,
love this
the one
game
thing
so
I will
much.
say that's quite funny is that, like, even though that project is quite interesting to me, I love that all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere almost, people have been remaking everything in the Unreal Engine.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah,
Because
you're
it's
right.
so
Came out and it's
pretty,
amazing.
So pretty.
And it makes
Seen
stuff
what
look
Ocarina
good.
of Time, just like I can't even think of everything. Mario, just like everything that's ever been a thing that somebody cared about is now getting re-released.
Well,
Was
'cause
it
then
the,
it
sorry.
breaks in that it's both really nice looking and nostalgia glasses.
I'm
Because now
waiting.
they can get you to buy it
Mhm.
twice.
I'm waiting for Zork in the Unreal Engine, and all it
Yes.
is a guy at a computer just in the Unreal Engine playing original Zork.
that
wow.
would be the best. Oh my god, that would be so
Very
meta.
meta.
I'd love it.
Oh dear.
So we're gonna yo-yo. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about. I'm gonna go back to Street Fighter and talk about
Okay.
more boss
Yeah,
shit.
Street Fighter time.
Right.
All right,
Oh
so
my
Street
God.
Fighter 5 came out this Tuesday, and while the core game is great, it basically launched with no modes. Like it's basically just multiplayer. There's a thing called character stories, which is basically like you can beat all the characters, like an individual character story in like 3 to 5 minutes because it's like a few lines of dialogue, some art, and then like 1 or 2, like 2 to 3 fights per engagement. With I think Nakali has 4 fights or something like that. But basically, Street Fighter 5 launched. Everyone was excited. When they got their hands on the game, it was like, oh, this is like nothing because all there is online multiplayer, local multiplayer, survival mode, and story mode, which is again like both those modes kind of whatever. It kind of brings up the idea that like games are coming out like faster, but they're not necessarily
finished.
With content. The weird part about Street Fighter 5 is that in March, in like 2 weeks or so, they are going to be launching the big March update, which will have the in-game store. It'll have a kind of an arcade mode, but a story mode, like a full-fledged story mode, and a bunch of other features. And I don't know, like, how do you guys feel about games that are kind of like just launching right now? Fundamentally speaking, the game works, but there is nothing else to do but online matches, basically.
Anything that requires me to be online to do is always slightly frustrating when there's other elements to the game. Or have to be logged into a server to play said game is always something that drives me a little bonkers. But the bigger issue that I find interesting or frustrating is that gamers have now reached the point that it's just, of course it is. Like, anytime I was just kind of digging through the Twitter feed about this, and a lot of people were just like, well, of course, it just got out. And the fact that we've reached the point that we're expecting bugs and things to be wrong when it's first launched is really, really sad. And it's solely based off of the turnaround. Like, we got to get these games out faster and faster and faster. And so they're not taking the time they need to make sure they actually release a complete game that works when you get it.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
another aspect of this too is that when you have a prestige franchise like Street Fighter that has had earlier iterations of essentially, I'm not going to say the same game. There's always difference in the mechanics, the roster, the graphics, stuff like that. But where you kind of know what you're getting into from the start, they have to have more content to to make that $60 price point worth it for people, especially if you're more of a casual fan. Because it's like, why not just play Street Fighter 4 still? If there's more modes, more characters, more everything else, what is to drive the person to buy Street Fighter 5 that isn't just hardcore Street Fighter fan?
Yeah, see, and that is actually like the heart of why I think this is a big issue. Because like this Street Fighter is a simpler Street Fighter game than Street Fighter 4, like mechanically speaking. And I'm a fighting game enthusiast. I love fighting games. I'm not just saying that to be a shitbag. But it is a simpler game. It feels more like Street Fighter 2. The weird part about it is that they designed this game to try to get newcomers into the game. But if you are a brand new person, you first time playing Street Fighter, and you pop this game into your system, you're going to notice that there's no modes for you to play in. There's not even like challenges to teach you how to play the characters. Like,
yeah, no one wants to hop in on, and play with other players when you don't know how to play the game.
Well, and there's another aspect we haven't even really talked about yet, is that when it first launched, there was also a lot of problems with actually being able to connect to other players, from my understanding.
Yeah. But they did fix that pretty quick.
Capcom was much better on that,
it's standard for any launch of games that require being connected to a server server issues.
I think that just exacerbates the problem, though. Had there been more single-player or offline modes in the box, then the online problem wouldn't have stung as bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, is that, like, if you're not logged into their like fighters network, you actually can't earn anything in game. You can click on the modes and do stuff, but you can't like earn things. Like, because there's a currency called Fight Money, and there's also like a premium currency that will get introduced later.
Yeah, Zenny, right?
Zenny, with the Capcom standard, right?
Yep.
But like, you can't even earn that when you're playing the single play offline modes, because unless you're connected to the fighters network, you can't do anything. And another thing, like, for newcomers, like, story mode and arcade mode are, like, the options that you would go to try to get good at the game, try to play better. But, like, character story mode, the current version of it in the game, like I said, each of them last maybe a total of 5 minutes, and it's like, wow, nothing. There's no content here for newcomers.
Wow.
And I think that's really disappointing because, again, this is probably one of the best Street Fighter games to play if you're a newcomer right now.
Well, and and then when you have such a bad launch like that where you're missing all these parts, it sours people on the game, and then they just don't play it or don't think about it, and they won't come back for more. Like, oh no, guys, it's fixed now. You should play more. Like, no, because you didn't take the extra effort to make sure that the game was good at launch.
Yeah. And I think asking people to wait a month after they buy a game for the game to have the rest of its content is asking a lot. Like, I honestly think that's way too much.
Agreed.
I mean, $60 is a lot of money. You don't want to spend like it's like a pre-order in a way. Like, weird
you have
pre-order.
to pay for the beta.
Like basically early access shtick is getting into this, and it's whatever. I still love the game and I love playing it. Don't get me wrong about that. Like, it's a really fun game, but like I as a person who can see the game as someone from also a casual point of view, it's like there's not a hell of a lot for me to do. That said, though, I do play a lot of online matches. The netcode is great. Kagemusha, which is a GGPO style netcode that they're using, is really solid and it works. So at least there's that. So competitive players, you guys did it. You guys have a thing to play.
Yeah, but that, I mean, you're experienced at that, so going in and playing, live matches and stuff like that is something for you. I, on the other hand, am not very good at fighting games. Like, I have a few, and they're old. And it's essentially, can I learn how to cheeseball this? Because that's the only way I'm gonna make it through.
Oh, cheeseballing! That reminds me. Who wants to talk about it?
Talk about what?
Cheeseballing in fighting games.
Come on! Oh yeah. My classic cheeseballing had to be back in, I think it was Mortal Kombat 2, because you could tuck yourself into the corner, and then as soon as anybody approached you, you could uppercut them. And so when
okay, go on.
Well, it's just that was my move.
It
used to drive my cousins ape shit because they're just like, you're cheeseballing, and I'm like, and I'm winning, because you only have to hit them once and then run the timer out.
But what I'm referring to, there is some very famous fighting game cheeseballing going on right now in the news.
So the I don't know if I'm not sure who Lupe Fiasco is?
He is a rapper.
He is a rapper who is not known in the FGC
yes.
at all, but kind of tweeted out that he wants to fight Daigo in a big event or whatever. Markman, who, by the way, used to work at Mad Catz. Unfortunately, he was laid off very recently with Mad Catz's big layoff departure thing. So shout out to Markman. He's the guy who got us to E3, by the way, last year. So again, we really appreciate it. We hope you guys land. We hope you land on your feet. But so they got together and basically had a title match for Daigo versus Lupe. Daigo, legendary Street Fighter player, at the Street Fighter V launch event.
Daigo considered to be the best player.
One of the top 3. He's considered one of the the gods, the killers out there.
He's my personal favorite.
Yeah. So, anyways, they sit down for this match that happened a little while back, and unfortunately, I guess Lupe won the first to 3.
Yep.
Mashing out DPs and stuff like that. So a lot of people were looking at it and they were it was more of a spectacle event than a real match, to be honest. But the hilarious headline that Lupe beats Daigo is now floating around all over the place, and people are loving it.
It's one of those where a chess player, a master chess player, plays against someone who just learned the game and by sheer ridiculousness ends up winning.
Yeah. Well, okay.
How do you plan for something that can't be planned?
Throughout the match, Daigo, there was a few points where Daigo straight up perfect Lupe and stuff like that. So it seemed like Daigo was extending the event to kind of make it look more fun. But there was some confusion. A lot of fans speculate that there was some confusion about the match setup. We think that Daigo thought it was first to 5, so he could have some fun in the first few matches. But when Lupe when Lupe won the third match, they were like, okay, let's go again. And then everyone's like, no. The crowd was like, no, Lupe, you just beat Daigo. You won. You won. So
that's fantastic.
And Daigo even put his hands up to the 3 as if not understanding that it was first to 3 instead. But hilarious. It's a great way to actually. It's the most positive way that the Street Fighter V launch could have gone in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It's
good
It's
stuff.
pretty good. It's good stuff, and I like that kind of lighthearted stuff that happens. A lot of people are saying that it's fake, and I'm like, I don't think it's fake.
Sometimes it just
I think
happens.
it's fun. I think it's just fun.
Yeah, I think it's just fun. It's good stuff.
So kind of on that bandwagon about lacks of content. Let's go to kind of another side of this. So I don't know if you guys noticed, and I know none of us really play any Call of Duty games, but Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for the PC has a $15 version where you can play multiplayer only.
Oh,
modes.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I actually kind of agree with that assessment that it is kind of cool, and I did some kind of digging into this because I don't currently own Black Ops 3, but there are definitely some heavy restrictions on the multiplayer only. You can't prestige your character. Many of the modes are locked to you.
Oh.
But
you can't do custom games. You can't do zombie mode.
Yep.
And obviously story mode is obviously out.
Yeah, that's the whole point because it's
But
pure
I actually
multiplayer.
think this may be a good move for them because the $15 price point for somebody that just wants to try the game out and determine whether or not they're into the concept of online multiplayer shooters, $15 is not nearly as bad as full retail. And on top of that, apparently at any time you can upgrade to the full version, and the entire price you paid for the multiplayer is a discount off the full game.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I think this is actually one of the smartest moves especially for a franchise like Call of Duty that's kind of a yearly franchise that has franchise fatigue, especially on PC. PC sales have plummeted for Call of Duty games. And
I've heard...
go on.
Well, I've just been because my dad and friends do play Call of Duty, and I noted one of their major complaints is when a new Call of Duty comes out that it's not enough. They could have just played the last one and it would have really made any difference. In the last one, they have content they've built up. They know how the game works. They have all this gear and stuff that the
knowledge.
Exactly. And so to then get another one, it's gotta give you something that makes you want to buy the new one. So by having this kind of entry level way where you can go in, you can play, you can see what's new with the game, and it also immediately builds a multiplayer group, which will draw you in, and then you'll want to pay for the rest of it so that you can get better, because that's how these games work.
Oh yeah. And like with Call of Duty, especially like with such a multiplayer focus, like $15, that is a great deal, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. I mean, outside of like not being able to prestige, which kind of sucks, but it's like, again, for 15, it's like you're in there. You can play, you can shoot the bad guys.
Yep.
Right. Although
cool.
when you start getting against people that have prestige and therefore have the better gear, it's a
Well,
bloodbath.
you can level to 55 apparently, or you can level to some point. It's just
I think that's right before you prestige anyway.
yeah, exactly. So it's not like you're gonna be, completely just unable to progress. It's just, to me, it's almost like a tease. It's almost like, the first one's free, except for it's the first one's cheap. They're trying to
Yeah.
give you just enough of the game that you get to a certain point, and if you really like it, then it's like, shit, I want the rest of that, and you buy the whole thing. But then the nice thing is, from a consumer level, is, if you just are like, I wonder what this Call of Duty thing is all about. I've always been interested in the multiplayer. You can pick it up, you can play it, and if you go, well, that wasn't for me, at least you're not out $60.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that stings.
Yeah, and I think $60 is even a hell of a lot to ask for like a yearly franchise anyways, because next
Yeah.
year a new version's going to be out, and you'll have to
Right.
dump another amount of money on there. So another thing about this article, though, is that like this is a PC-only test right now, and they've
That
come
is
out and
true.
said, we're not sure how this is going to go. We hope it goes well. If it does, we'll continue, or we'll make adjustments as we see fit. But I think it's a smart move. I think it's,
Yeah.
I think
It sounds smart to me.
it's
I
good
mean,
stuff.
We'll get more news once we talk to people who have actually experienced it. But yeah, from me as a consumer level looking at that, I go, yeah, $15 would be enough for me to try it out and see if I like it. And then if I decide I don't, well, then I'm out $15. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the things that make this seem like it's a good decision are the customer-centric things, where you can upgrade and it just, and it's already discounted price since you've already paid for that amount of the game.
that you're not just paying another $60 on top of it.
Oh god, yeah.
Because it could have gone horribly wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
they
could
really
go
want to
real
be
bad.
snakes about it.
And I wouldn't put it past them.
So, really quickly, let's go ahead and take like a 10-minute break, and then we're gonna come back and kind of discuss the rest of our happenings, and then hopefully wrap up the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Woo.
Pee break.
Pee break.
And saying hello to Maya break.
Oh, you know what? Secret full disclosure. I just took a pee. I took a pee break in the middle of the podcast. No one noticed.
Oh
Not
my
in
god.
my chair. Not
That's
in my
why
chair.
you were
Now
quiet.
I had to leave for the bathroom.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's all
was
over though. It's everywhere.
Actually, I need
It was
to.
just me and Boom talking, so he was able to
Just
escape.
yapping it up. All right, so we're back.
Yes. Pee break
yes.
over.
The best Budcast is live
Very
again.
best Budcast.
Yay! Let's talk about Quantum Break
It's
really quick.
blooming.
We'll talk about Quantum Break. So, Quantum Break was an Xbox One exclusive title that is also now launching on Windows 10.
Yeah.
And apparently, some vocal fans are very upset about this because exclusivity does not mean
Yeah.
in general, exclusivity doesn't even include PCs to begin with. So, I'm not even sure why this is a problem.
I
Eh.
agree with that. Pretty much wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So,
I figured... Go on.
so here's the one thing to me about this, though, too, is you get the PC version if you pre-order the Xbox One version, but it's Windows 10 limited only through the Microsoft Store. It's being published by Microsoft. Of course Microsoft was going to release it on PC.
Mm-hmm. In fact, was it Killer Instinct, an Xbox One exclusive, is also coming out for Windows 10. So yeah, I don't know why people are surprised about this. I guess the difference is that like this game is also going to launch on both platforms like the same day.
Right.
So
Yeah, I suppose.
that's a new element, but at the same time, I can't help feeling that like if you feel betrayed by this, you might need to rethink your priorities a little
Yeah.
bit. Just saying.
I just honestly, the only thing I thought was funny is because it was exclusive to Windows 10, and it's like this new and creative way to make your ass upgrade to your OS.
Oh god. Actually, speaking of that, watch out because like there's going to be some Windows 7 updates that will eventually force and push Windows 10 onto your machines.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was trying to read up on that. Apparently there's a way to get out of it. Like Microsoft will let you sign up to some list. I don't know how true that is because I've only heard rumors about it.
Well,
Rumors of the list.
at least we have an inside source we can ask when it gets closer to time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to
Well,
ask our buddy about it.
I can say my computer too has been already trying to get me to download it. Like every
Yeah.
single time I turn on my computer, it's like, "Hey, get Windows 10," and I really
Yeah,
don't
no,
want
it nags you.
And this is our guest star, Maya. She's been listening in.
I have been
And
listening.
there she is. You know, feel free to jump in a little bit, Maya,
Yeah, you
if you
can
want.
jump
We'll just increase the amount of people because
Woo!
originally it was going to be 6 people anyway. So,
Yeah.
bam.
So Maya is the new Anna.
Hello, Maya.
Yes.
She's also a movie buff. In a way, she fulfills the Anna role.
I am a movie buff. That is very true.
And she'll
That
be
is very
great for our
true.
next segment.
So
Yeah,
the only other thing
Yay,
I
I'm
wanna
useful.
The only
That's
other
what
thing I really want to say about Quantum Break is about the whole Windows launch thing, and besides everything we already mentioned, is that it's obviously just a way for them to push their store. It's not going to be available on Steam. It's not going to be available as a physical disc. It's only available through Microsoft's online store. So, duh. Of course
Yeah.
they're going to
Yeah.
do this.
I guess the other little bit of news that, I mean, everyone's reported on this already, but I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on it. So, the Fallout 4 Season Pass has been broken down a little bit, like a chunk of it has been broken down, and they're toting about all this new content coming out. Have you guys kind of heard about this a little bit?
Yeah. There's
little
like
bit.
3 kind of, like 2 sort of mini expansions, and then like 1 large beefier one that's coming out, right?
Yeah, there's I think the first one's gonna be Automatron, which is basically like robots. Get your robots on, and I don't remember what the pricing plan on that is, but
$10.
yeah, okay, for that one. There's also gonna be like kind of like a Wasteland upgrade, like Wasteland Workshop upgrade, which allows you to capture monsters, do a few
$5.
new designs and stuff for your settlements, all sorts of kind of like just cosmetic things, basically. Well, not cosmetic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
In-game stuff.
it's not necessarily like a content. It's just or a game.
Well,
Story
It's
line
not
kind of
story,
thing.
yeah, not story relevant content.
From-
And then like Far Harbor, which stars Nick Valentine, probably one of the more beloved companions in the game currently. And apparently this is going to be a big chunk, like an entire new like area.
$25.
Yeah, like the price tag on that, holy shit. So to give you guys an idea really quick, currently, right now, as in February 20th, the season pass for Fallout 4 to get all of this content and more is $30, $29.99. But because of this recent press announcement that they're going to be adding a ton of content and that the Far Harbor by itself is $25, they are bumping the price in March to $50, $49.99.
Actually, is
brand new
it
price.
49 or 59?
It's
Oh,
49,
you're right.
It's 49.
It's
It's 49.
Wow.
I'm
okay.
seeing $60 around.
No, I'm on the Bethesda
Oh, never
website.
mind.
It is $49.99
Yeah.
as of
Say
March
I'm
1st.
on
So,
GameSpot, and they said
Oh,
it
I'm
was
sorry.
50.
These were Canadian dollars.
no, that's not real money. Get those maple leaves out of here.
Canadians!
But anyway, so like they are warning people, and if you've already bought a
kinda
season
nice.
pass, you're fine. You get all the content like as per normal. But if you wait until after March 1st, or until March 1st rather, you will have to pay the brand new price, a $20 or $20 higher. And I don't know, how do you guys feel about this? Like, mind you, this is not all of the content. This is just the first wave of content coming out.
Right.
Well, I think it's kind of fair. I mean,
Yeah,
You know.
because things get more expensive, and the fact that they're actually telling people like, hey,
yeah,
if you
they're
don't
giving
own the
everybody
game
a warning.
or you haven't bought the pass, now's the time to do it. Because normally I either don't play games that have ones because BioWare knows better, or
That's very true. I forgot. My wife
Yeah.
does not do that.
No.
no, because they know they have you, and so
Yep.
you'll pay $15 a pop for DLC storyline content, and so they have no worries about worrying about people not buying the other ones, so they don't do passes. But since I've heard such amazing things about Fallout 4 and learning that there's not only these expansions that are coming out that come up to, is it just by itself $40, just what we talked about right now. If you buy them independently, the fact that you could just get the pass as long as you do it before the first, you save $10 just off of that.
Yeah, and I think it's like a fairly good season pass, because it's not like other season passes where it's like, yeah, you got the hat.
Yeah, I've definitely been burned by some season passes before.
God.
I've done it twice. One was pretty decent, and the other one was not. So
I think everybody's been taken in by a season pass once or twice.
Of the ones I've bought, it's been a coin toss.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what this is going to be, is how this is, like, ultimately goes down in terms of how the perception of this is entirely depends upon the quantity and the quality of the content they release with their season pass.
I am excited for Far Harbor. I think that's going to be like the key feature that will probably sell people on getting it before March 1st.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like there's going to be like a lot of stuff. I also, like, just judging by the screenshots and what we know about it, it might be kind of like an Innsmouth Cthulhian-esque kind of adventure, but we're not 100% sure. Like, the landscape and architecture kind of looks like that a little bit. But I don't know. I think it's great that they announced it, honestly.
Yeah.
I
mean, it would be one thing if it's just, surprise, now it's $50. I think people would be rather upset, but it's actually really nice that they made sure you know in advance, like, hey, you buy it now, you can still get the $30 price tag, which for me, since I didn't pick up the game because I'm poor, now I'm really considering it because, again, I'm on Tumblr, so Fallout 4 is all over my dash, and everyone seems to love that game. So I'm like, crap, maybe, now's the time, because the pass is going to go up $20.
Yeah, and that 20 is a pretty big number right now.
Yeah, to me that's it's a bit of a wait and see in terms of whether or not this turns out to be a good thing, a bad thing, or a neutral thing. Because I mean, the bottom line is, if you're a person that plays MMOs, you're already kind of used to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, sorry not to backpedal too much, but one thing I wanted to give props for Final Fantasy XIV about is that every so often they've been giving the players rather, big like content dumps. Like, a lot of MMOs are not doing that right now.
No, they're amazing. And when they it kind of reminds me of like old World of Warcraft, that if you were getting an expansion you had to pay for, you were essentially getting a whole new game that you strapped on to the old one. So Heaven's Ward felt like a huge money worth expansion, whereas if they're not doing something that ginormous, they give it to you for free. But they're constantly giving you real content and real storyline updates. Like this one that's coming out on Tuesday expands the main storyline, so it's not just new dungeons, new gear. They put in new quests and all kinds of other things, and that comes with your subscription fee that you have every month.
All right. Okay, so let's wean off of some gaming and kind of go into movie, TV shows, and some pop culture stuff. I guess on the top of the docket, I didn't really put this in any particular order, but did you guys check out the final Batman v Superman trailer?
I did indeed.
Yeah, I did recently.
Yep, that's a movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot to say. I just wanted to put it on the docket.
Well, I'm seeing previews for it everywhere, and quite frankly, I'm not a huge Superman fan to begin with, and
I don't know many people are.
He's never really done anything for me, because he's just I'm not gonna go into it. There's a lot of reasons why I'm not a huge Superman fan, but like
straight man.
He is, but it also bugs me that he's also like the most powerful person in the DC universe, and it's just there's just a lot of things about him that kind of bug me, and I've never really been able to get behind Superman. So it's like watching these previews, it hasn't made me any more excited for the movie. I feel like I should be.
I am in for Wonder Woman. That's it.
Yeah,
I am going
Wonder
for
Woman.
Wonder Woman. I need to support this movie because Wonder Woman's in it, and then they're making Wonder Woman, so I can go see it.
That's true.
Because, god damn it, it is time for Wonder Woman.
It really
One
is.
year of Wonder Woman.
Like, when's the last time Wonder Woman had any live action shit? Fucking, I want to say the 70s?
And of course,
Probably,
never a movie.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
movie.
Now that said, the like DC animated movies have done amazingly. Like
Oh,
those
yeah.
movies
That's
are
true.
great.
Well, I think
But
they build in
DC like
humor.
movies have kind of been like, eh.
The movies have been
Ugh.
very hit or miss, I feel.
Well, but they're very
Mhm.
grim dark in comparison to Marvel's kind of lighter hand with their.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys saw the recent Injustice movie that came out like a few years back. Or not Injustice, the recent Justice League movie, which basically was like all the superheroes meeting for the first time and then forming the Justice League. Like Shazam's in it, which he is Shazam now, by the way. He's no longer Captain Marvel. He is actually just called Shazam now.
I disagree with that.
They just
But
started calling him Shazam?
Yeah, to alleviate a lot of confusion
About
blah, blah,
Marvel.
blah, blah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a Captain Marvel, and then there was another Captain Marvel, and...
Owned by Marvel.
Yeah,
Well, also in the DC universe.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
a Captain Marvel in the DC universe, and a Captain Marvel in the Marvel universe.
It's-
Well, I
it's a
guess-
really
I guess
weird
it
thing.
was.
That's
But
true.
anyways,
Well, it
like,
still is.
kind of back to the trailer. I think as a trailer, this is a much better trailer than the previous trailers. Like in particular, like one of the first major trailers they released for this was basically just the entire movie compressed
Oh
in
god,
like 2 minutes.
yeah.
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 I think this is like a real trailer, and I think that's great. I don't know that it increases or decreases my excitement. I'm kind of blasé about it, but I'm
I feel
glad
like
that
it
it
also
doesn't
kinda-
just spoil everything, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it also kind of cleared up like what the basis of the movie was, because I gotta admit, the first preview I saw, it made it just the way they cut it and the way that they did the voiceovers, it made it look like Batman kind of just went crazy for no reason and then ended up fighting Superman.
Still kind of looks crazy
Yeah,
because I mean, in the comics they had plenty of time to build it up. I'm not sure if they can build up the "I'm Batman, I'm gonna kill the shit out of Superman."
Well, and the
movie.
new
Like, how are you
one-
gonna build that up?
In
Without him making it
one
look
of
like
the
crazy
newer
man.
ones, they added in the line of Batman actually talking about why, he thinks Superman is dangerous, and it makes a
Yeah.
little bit more sense because it's not just making it look like Batman snaps and goes crazy.
Well, yeah, but he still looks like fucking crazy pants.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
no, he
yeah.
still looks crazy, but it
He
just
is a
it makes
crazy
it look
pants, to be
less
fair.
like
And-
Batman just randomly goes
And
dark
what
side.
and
Yeah.
while we talk about Batman being a bit crazy pants in this trailer, did anybody else see that punch where he punches that guy's head into the floorboards and he
That guy's
basically
dead.
like cartoon
Yeah.
style? He's like cartoon style, like straight splayed up with his head buried in the floor. That guy.
You don't come
dead.
back from that.
Fuck.
That guy is dead. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
I thought this was Batman.
It's like,
No,
yeah,
he's dead
in the
now.
old Batman
well,
movies.
you
I
know,
mean, Batman
more
shoved a
grim dark.
bomb in somebody's stomach and then threw him down a trash chute. I'm pretty sure that guy didn't live either, but damn.
Batman's
You know when
prettier
Batman
now.
fights Killer Croc, he usually like almost straight up kills Killer Croc like each encounter.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. Let's put it out. Oh, speaking of Killer Croc, wow, this worked out. Suicide Squad.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm actually kind of excited to see this. It looks like it's going to be way more fun.
yeah.
the
that's
other
why I'm
movies.
so excited about it.
It looks more
because-
interesting, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I know they had to take their villains and crazy ass people to get it to work, but this looks like it's actually going to have a little humor to it. It's going to be a dark humor because
Because Suicide Squad.
yeah,
PG-13, by
Suicide
the way.
Squad. But I think it will bring in what some of these DC movies are really lacking, which is kind of an awareness of their surroundings by being so like straight arrow, grim, dark that they're not really connecting with people in the same way
Yeah.
that I think Suicide Squad will because of the humor that will
Yeah.
be built into it.
Yeah.
I want to see what the dynamics are like because this is the first time we're going to see Ben Affleck as Batman.
He looks better than I
yeah.
thought he was going to.
He's
Yeah.
surprisingly
Yeah, the first time I heard Ben
believable for
Affleck,
me
I
in
think-
that universe.
We all
I
made
think
that
my
face.
brain immediately went to Daredevil.
Oh,
I heard he
oh,
was going
God.
to be in
What's-
Batman,
you know,
and so I was
though-
kind of picturing him from like the Daredevil movie as Batman, and I was like, that's not going to work. And then I saw the preview, and he looks better than I thought he was going to.
The thing to me is that suit, especially like the power suit he uses in Batman v Superman, looks a lot to me like sort of the Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where most of the inspiration for these movies or that movie is coming from, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
And actually, on that note, so there was another animated movie called Assault on Arkham, which is like the Suicide Squad kind of like
Yes,
origin
yes.
story, and that looks very similar to what Suicide Squad the movie is going to be like.
Nice.
I'm not sure about the storylines of the comics. I'm not really sure where that takes place, but it's interesting.
Eh.
So
I will
we'll see.
say their trailer is better put together than any of the Batman v Superman trailers.
Agreed.
I'd say
Yeah.
better than any of the DC trailers. I think that's the
Yeah.
best DC
Yeah.
trailer that's out
Yeah.
right
For
now.
sure.
Well, I think it's just because they have more characters and, quite frankly, more interesting characters
Yeah.
to build around.
My only thing that I don't like is that Deadshot played by Will Smith is not really the Deadshot that we know in the comics or the cartoons.
Yeah,
Because
I guess
Deadshot's
that's
kind of
true.
like a hothead, kind of egotistical guy, but this one looks more like oh man, there I am, Will Smithing.
I'm too old for this shit.
I mean, it's
At least
possible that
Will
he
Smith's
can
a little
pull-
egotistical. You got that.
But I want Wild Wild West Will Smith for this role.
Yeah, but it's possible though that he does have the ability to play like a smarmy, egocentric character pretty well. Because what was that kind of not the heist movie, but it wasn't a heist movie. It was where he was a thief.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was that movie called?
Oh, we watched that together. I remember.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Give me a minute. I have Google.
Yeah, we're googling that
We have
shit.
the internet.
But
actually,
I
so
mean-
let's move on to X-Men Apocalypse, since
We're
we're
all
all
talking
talking about capes.
Oh my god, X-Men
Sure.
Apocalypse.
Yeah,
so
how do
excited.
you guys feel about the recent trailer? Some of the character reveals, obviously.
Hmm.
I think that a lot of characters look pretty good. Like in
Really
particular,
good.
Storm and Psylocke are
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
to me,
I
stand
think
out
they-
as amazing looking.
Well, I really
think
liked
they-
it because. Go ahead, Maya.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say, I think the only thing that kind of slightly threw me off was that they decided to make Angel's wings metallic, which I mean,
That
isn't
is-
that
It's
big
for
of a
the
deal.
Gods of
becomes
Egypt
Archangel.
crossover.
Shit.
I was gonna
what
say,
was I
it's not that big of a deal. It was one of the small things that I kind of noticed.
Well, actually, in that trailer, we're pretty sure you
You see
see
both.
Angel in both configurations.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
likely.
you do.
Oh,
it's-
okay. I don't
it's
think I caught
likely
that.
he'll go from Angel and then get taken over by Apocalypse and be Archangel.
He gets the middle wings.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
cool as shit in a movie.
That's
well,
actually really
that would be
impressive for
pretty
the
awesome.
Fox universe, because Fox has not been very adventurous when it comes to trying to make comic book character movies.
I think
Yeah.
they're starting to realize that that's a bad thing.
Yeah, with Marvel being ready to print money on just about anything, they're like, hey, wait, people will go see the things that are canon, huh?
Well, yeah, I feel like they're kind of slowly starting to figure that out, which I mean took you long enough, but
Right.
Yeah.
I am really
Like-
enjoying this dawn of good superhero movies, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And even casuals prefer things being kind of comical and cartoony. That's just that's what everybody likes.
It's
Exactly.
Well, not
really
everybody.
selling well
Majority.
right now. And speaking of
Majority.
selling well right now, let's talk about Deadpool.
Deadpool!
Despite
Oh,
being
oh my
R-rated,
God.
despite
I'm
being
going again
R-rated,
tonight.
is busting out some good
Amazing.
numbers.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it's
almost like
amazing.
that's what everybody fucking said was gonna happen.
right,
Yeah.
it's freaking amazing. I love
Nobody
it.
cares what your little baby wants. I'm sorry, but parents, you're in charge of what your
Oh
kids
my God.
see, not the fucking industry of anything ever.
Well, it's
Society
one of those
is
things
not
where
in
it's
charge
like
of your kid.
It's like it's rated R. That is a rating for a reason. It's supposed to be inappropriate for anybody under 17. They freaking ID you at the theater to see a rated R movie, and kids and parents are bringing their 9-year-olds to it.
It's like,
Oh man, it's a
no.
hard R too. This is
But
not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I saw Deadpool in the Spider-Man cartoon, and he was really funny. And that's the most original part of Deadpool. He's meant for kids.
No, he's not.
No, he really, really isn't.
Well, and I
Really?
just read 4 volumes of the I bought the Ultimate Collection volumes. There's only 4 of them, I think. I'm gonna start collecting the classics soon, but going through those, it's like, no, Deadpool is not a family-friendly character. He is a rated R character. Like, that is straight up who he is.
Although the joke is, or been running around Tumblr and around the internet, that if they put Deadpool in a PG-13 movie, because you can get one F-bomb in it, that Deadpool would be like almost cursing every time, but like holding on to it because he wants to use it because it's really, really good.
And you only get one F-bomb in PG-13, man.
Exactly. And so and then he says it like, oh, I gotta hold it on because you only get the one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie, and just have like Wolverine or someone turn to him and go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Oh, it'd be so good.
I want him to do that and like say he wasted it. Like have a scene set up where he accidentally uses it and then freaks out about it.
Yeah. It's like,
oh, that'd be good.
So really quickly, as of February 19th, Deadpool has grossed worldwide $349.6 million.
Nice.
On a budget of $50 million.
Shit,
Yep.
yeah.
I know they were so low budget.
It is such a low budget, but you know what? I like films that are made with low budget because then they work harder on the practical effects.
Yeah.
Well, and this was a project of love. I mean, everyone that was on this project was there because they loved this project and they wanted it to get off the ground and be the best that they could be. I mean, Ryan Reynolds has been working for 11 years.
Yeah, it's like he's been trying to get it. He's been trying to get it made for like a decade.
Well, if you take the fucking character whose nickname is the Merc with a mouth and then you sew it up,
sew his mouth.
I don't even. What are they? What?
I
so
they made fun of that though.
God,
well,
so
bad.
So boom. Other than just us gushing at the movie, I do want to just expand on the point though that you kind of mentioned and that other people mentioned, that it is a passion project, and I think that's one of the reasons it was so successful. But and obviously Fox is going to try to take credit for this, but I mean, let's be honest, it had very little to do with Fox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Fox wasn't even going to make this movie. They have been blocking it as much as they can until that footage leaked, and then they found out that people leaked with heavy quotation marks around it. Like once the footage leaked, it's like they finally found out that people will go see this movie and people would go watch this character. People love this character, and then they kind of realized that they actually had a market for it. Yeah. And then they were like, okay, fine, I guess we'll make it.
Well, what's interesting is this is not the first media to go with superheroes and adult content, because on Netflix, of course, there is the new Daredevil series and Jessica Jones.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also, I mean, in the past, there was like The Crow, Spawn, even Watchmen, if you want to get more recent.
Oh, yeah.
And those were all rated R, and those did, pretty good.
Yeah. And
I mean, Spawn didn't do great in theaters, but it did pretty well afterwards, even though it wasn't faithful to the comics, but
it
was cool.
That movie had like the weird 90s CG style.
Weird 90s CG, and they mixed 3 characters into one sometimes. It was fucking weird. I loved it.
But you know what? The Defiler looked great.
Yes, he did. He was perfect.
In his weird human form.
He was disgusting. It was awesome.
I was gonna say, kind of circling back to the Deadpool movie real quick. Also, just the thing I think I appreciated the most about the movie was the fact that they managed to get the balance that the comics has, which is between, the fact that Deadpool does have a lot of depressing things happen to him, and he's got kind of a really crappy life, but he still manages to have that, sense of humor. I mean, it helps that he's insane, but
yeah.
I love that they actually managed to find that balance of serious and hilarious in the movie to the point where it really did feel authentic to the comics that I've been reading.
Well, and it's also something that hits you hard because there are scenes where he's because it's all a facade. It's for everyone else. It's, by making this funny, it's either that or, you crumble inside. So it's a coping mechanism that a lot of people are very familiar with.
Very depressed people love it.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why I loved it, because there's so many moments like that in the comic books too, where it's really funny, and then you'll get scenes where suddenly you just realize that it's he's pretty much only has humor, or he's just going to be depressed all the time.
Yeah.
And you feel it more because it's funny. You feel the sadness, and you're like, oh shit, I can relate. I get it.
Well,
it makes you feel deeper, in my opinion.
And then when you get those small moments where it is just sad, because there is a very specific scene in the Deadpool movie where, Wade is sitting there just kind of absorbing what's happened to him, and it's a very like isolated moment that he doesn't share with anyone else, and you connect to that.
Yeah,
it's great.
And it's
You
a
don't
small
get that
moment,
in action
and it's
films.
so powerful.
Well, and I just appreciated it even more because it really is authentic to his comics. Like that is what they're like.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that really like nailed it for me, that I just absolutely fell in love with this thing.
Yeah,
It's a great movie.
Uh-huh.
So a bit of a non sequitur about this, just as a kind of a closing question on Deadpool. So Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Oh,
Awesome.
God, she was,
Turned out to be-
I'm so glad they chose the best, like, kind of offshoot character, and they made her so perfect. Oh my God.
They actually salvaged the character. Like,
I
impressive
never
work.
cared about her before, not once, and now I'm just like, oh shit, I gotta read everything
Yeah,
with
and
her.
you know what the best part
Gotta
is
see it.
too? This comes down to mostly the budget. They pitched a ton of different X-Men for this film, and they were like too expensive. So they're like, what about this one? And the studio is like, what?
Who?
Whatever. Take her.
Basically, they could afford Colossus, but no one else.
Exactly. Which
They
of
blew
course
their
they
load
make
on
the crack
Colossus.
about it.
So it turned out
in
to
the
be
movie.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
God, it was
I'm
so
very
good.
glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Like, the only thing I was kind of like weary about is that like there are some stages, like there's some backgrounds in the Deadpool movie that I don't think like makes sense necessarily. Like, what the hell was that giant Harrier ship just in the junkyard?
carrier.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
actually
But, like-
early Shield that's being.
I'm actually pretty sure that was just one of the downed helicarriers from one of the
That's what
other
it looked
Marvel
like.
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
That's
like, are we
excess from
directly
Winter
connecting
Soldier.
to the Marvel universe, like the greater Marvel universe versus the
I
Sony
don't-
Marvel
I
world
don't
now?
know. It feels like a weird halfway connection sort of bridge thing. It's strange.
If something's gonna do that, it would be Deadpool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
yeah,
it really
that's
matches
why I
the
like
character,
this.
though.
Exactly. I think it was just totally kind of an inside jab at the fact that they're in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
felt
I
like
definitely
a-
want to believe that.
And there's always
my headcanon.
helicarriers crashing in Marvel movies, so fucking there you go.
There's
We
a
did
random
it.
one right there.
What I want
Alright,
more than
so-
anything, however, is a Spider-Man in Deadpool. I know it's never happened, but oh my God, would it have been
We
that
could
would be
do
amazing.
meme.
That would be that's what I'm waiting for.
Well,
I
Deadpool
want
2
it.
is coming out, so
True.
We getting there.
we know
But they
that
can use
immediately,
Garfield from Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
'cause, you know he's been
Yeah.
released from his contract. Use that that version
Yeah.
of Spider-Man.
There we go.
All right,
Uh,
I think
so-
everybody
let's-
is. I think everybody's like gushed on Deadpool everywhere
Yeah,
all
yeah,
over the
let's-
internet.
let's move
we
away
should
from this.
probably move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I think so.
Really quickly though, I want to get your guys' opinion on this. How do you guys feel about, because there's a lot of superhero media out right now. How do you guys feel about this? And like Marvel has planned out like the next 3 years of superhero content as well. So it's like, how do you honestly feel about
I
all of this?
have an answer for you, and I want you to listen real close.
Oh God. And
There
there
you
you guys go.
Yep. I mean,
Yep.
that's
my
honestly, what's not to like?
I don't think I could beat
The-
that. Yeah.
The people that get upset or like really like, well, these guys aren't real fans because they only watch the movies or they only do this or they only do that. It's just more stuff for you to like. And it's like, hey, if it turns out shit, which sometimes it does, then you don't just support that one project. But I'm glad it's happening.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
also, of course, we're getting the Wonder Woman movie, we're getting Captain Marvel movie, so it's also like, hey, we
Who's
also
excited
have
for
our-
Doctor Strange?
Yeah, and Doctor
Yes.
Strange. You're getting people that haven't really got their chance to shine to actually get full motion picture movies, which is
Mhm.
freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
So it's not just Batman and Superman.
Yeah,
anymore.
there's only so many times I
Yeah.
can see Batman and Superman.
And I mean, and here's another aspect of it too. I mean, some of us are old enough that when we were younger, it was easy to get bullied and ostracized for liking comic book and other kind of geeky material. It being
Pokemon's
more
for
and
boys.
it being more and
No
more in the
joke.
mainstream, it just makes it so that you can fly that geek flag and nobody gives a shit. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also nice for if you like to get really geeky T-shirts. They're way more readily
God.
available now.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
indeed.
No, all of my
Also, like,
my goal
what is it,
is to
Game of
make sure
Thrones
all
did
of my
that too.
T-shirts are somehow geeky related.
I have at least 4 Deadpool shirts, and I'm still collecting.
I only have the one.
I've got a big T-shirt collection now as well.
Oh, man.
I
I have a lot of
basically
Star
visit
Wars now.
T-Fury and Yeti every day just to see what the daily deal is going to be.
Oh
I'm
my
actually
God.
wearing my Galaxy's Guardians of the Galaxy shirt right now.
Nice. I'm wearing a Sriracha shirt.
I'm wearing a
Nice.
Samurai Champloo shirt.
I wish I was
Nice.
wearing something interesting, but I didn't get
One day.
dressed, so.
Well, let's talk
That's
about
fine.
Let's talk about how old I sound. I'm wearing an Offspring Smash shirt from their album, in the 90s.
Oh boy.
Look at
Hey.
Oldie McOlder pants.
Yeah, speaking of older things, let's roll into some figures. So the 80s TMNT
Yes.
so FigArts is releasing a line of 80s TMNT figures. So they have the 4 original turtles in their original, like, kind of 80s cartoon style from the
Nice.
TV show, not from the comics.
Yes.
And
Yep.
they look pretty good. Let me see if I can get a link for you guys. I don't know, like, this retro, like, trip is going really well for us.
Okay, so I can expand on that quite a bit, actually. You've opened up a floodgate you don't understand.
Oh dear.
Oh, do expand.
boy, here he goes.
This is your
Let it
limelight.
begin. Do it.
So
do it.
the New York Toy Fair just happened, I think last weekend?
Yep, that is
And
correct.
for the first time ever, they added the New York Play Fair, which was actually open to the public for kids and families to actually go
I
and
heard that.
play with some of these new toys that are coming out. Well, regarding Turtles in particular, and regarding 80s Turtles, besides the cool fig arts that are coming out, they're also doing movie versions of the Turtles, as in, like, the original 90s movie version of the Turtles as statues. And I think it's not
Nice.
fig arts, though. I think it might be... It's not NECA. It's one of the big toy brands, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. We'll have to look it up, and maybe we can put it in a description or something if this ever gets posted anywhere. But
Yeah.
That's
That's a better link, sorry.
80s Turtles, movies Turtles, both old and new. Nick Turtles have fig arts that are amazing. So, on top of all that, there's also Mega Blocks. So, for the longest time, I always thought Mega Blocks were just, the crap tier, inexpensive Lego. Well,
But they've expanded so much.
they have done some amazing things with the Turtles license now that they have the Turtles license. So, of course, they're doing the Nicktoons Turtles because that's what's popular right now, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Gotta stay
But-
current with the kids.
They're also releasing sets of the 80s Turtles. One of their play sets they're releasing is the 80s Technodrome.
Oh, yeah.
So they've got the 80s Turtle Van, the 80s Technodrome. They've got the 80s like figures with custom stands, in Mega Blocks. And they're doing one comic book play set with the comic book figures. And those comic book figures come on these custom kind of like, comic-y looking stands. And they're all
Wow.
Mega Blocks.
Nice.
That's pretty awesome.
God,
So the-
I want it.
Yeah,
Big
there
I
are
want the
media pushes.
Technodrome. Oh, I need it.
Yeah, I know. So there's so many cool Turtles things coming out right now, which is really great.
That is great. It's like kind of just the best for people our age right now. All
Yeah.
the good stuff. And,
And they're
yeah,
coming
the
out with
reason for
Karai.
that-
They're coming out with Karai.
Oh, yeah,
And
they are.
she's not a snake. Although I already have. I'm actually looking at my snake figure of Karai right next to my desk. She's hanging out right next to Raph, actually.
Ah.
But I'm really, really excited that they're releasing a human version of Karai, and it looks really, really good. So I'm.
Oh yeah, and when we talk
pleased.
about this is the Playmates line, the kind of cheaper, the $10
Oh,
made
yeah.
for kids to play with ones.
Ooh.
Nice. Damn. So I think if you guys have any guest topics, let's talk about those right now.
Oh yeah, if you got anything
I think
you guys
Anita and I
wanna-
kind of like blew our loads already. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually looked something specific up, and it will be near and dear to particularly Nita's in my heart because it's slash ranty because it's talking about CBS's All Access Pass that to see CBS shows.
Oh,
You pay that
yeah.
$6 a month fee, and it's great because they're advertising it as it's cheaper than Netflix and Hulu. except you only have CBS shows.
Yeah.
And with that, they have Supergirl, which I really, really want to support, but I can't pay a specific station an additional fee since I do have Netflix, I do have Hulu, and now they're making a Star Trek series.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be exclusive to All Access, if I remember correctly.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's not going to be on TV, if I remember. It's
That's
supposed
a
to be
big push.
They really want my fucking money, dude.
Exactly, and I can't. I want these shows to succeed because these are shows I am really interested in, but I don't like the idea that a network is following this trend of you have to pay that network specifically to get their content, because what if it turns into every network doing that? There's no way I'm going to be paying, ABC and Fox and all of these stations so I can watch them. And I know this is part of a trend from, HBO and Showtime and stuff like that and Stars, but that's a whole different ball of wax, I think, than these stations and paying for them individually.
We are getting kind of messy when it comes to like how many people want like the exclusive streaming service or whatever. And like I felt like with a station like, HBO, Showtimes, it's kind of expected. But now that we're moving off of premium cable and like normal networks are wanting it as well, it's kind of becoming like a weird situation where they are trying to appeal to the streaming market, but they might not be doing it in the best way possible.
No,
because it's basically just cable again.
Exactly, because you still, there are outlets people are already going to. Like, if you need to go, you need to contact Hulu, you need to contact Netflix, and have your stuff go through them, because those are or Amazon Prime. That's another one. These are the places that people are getting their streaming services or their streaming content from. And by making them their own special snowflake, I don't think they're getting what they expect from it, and it's just going to be this like awful self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, clearly streaming's not working because people aren't paying it, we're not making any money, so we're just going to stop doing it. Like, no, you just think way too much of your shows alone to have people pay for them. Like,
I wonder if the problem is if they're coming from like, say, 3 or 4 years ago, or even a little earlier than that, when they were trying to get you to pay for cable and then also pay for their streaming site, and people were complaining. They're saying, just give it to us a la carte, we'll pay for it if it's just on its own. But the problem is that they waited way too long to do it a la carte style. It's everybody's past that point. We all have Netflix, we all have Hulu, some of us have Amazon Prime. I enjoy it, and
my mom has it.
I'm probably gonna stick with it. I might actually give in to them because I really want to see Star Trek so bad.
And that's it. That's like those, like Supergirl, and like there is a lot of CBS shows I really like, but I almost feel like on principle, I already pay for these avenues, and there's other networks, because I mean, a lot of my shows go through Hulu, and so all these networks are on board with Hulu, and it's like, really, you want to be the special snowflake that feels that you deserve $7 an hour or $7 a month more for your shows.
And and what CBS has been slowly pulling some of their shows from the Hulu service. So we're entering kind of dangerous territory at this point. And I feel like some of the systems I feel like are established decently well, and like going outside of it is almost unnecessary and kind of harmful to the consumer in a lot of ways.
Oh, it's very harmful.
Like, this is the future I wanted. It's just not the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hopefully some of these places will wise up, because one of the things too is that people aren't necessarily going to find your content outside of these larger aggregate networks.
That's true.
Because one of the advantages...
keep going.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, they're going to keep trying to do, like, your traditional web advertising, the ads on the sides, pop-up ads and that stuff, and they don't work. I don't know about you, but I don't think I've actually ever looked at an ad. I just immediately scan out where the little tiny red X is.
Yep. I don't read them.
But, like...
sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, but, like, the other thing about it, too, is just that, sometimes you only find a show and start watching it because, it's like the channel surfing of streaming is having access to lots of shows.
It's one of the reasons I started watching Lucifer, actually, was because I had already watched all the shows, or all the episodes of my other shows, and Hulu goes, "You might like Lucifer," and I'm like, I might. And so I clicked on it, and I ended up really liking it. And the same thing happens to me all the time on Netflix, where Netflix is like, "Hey, you watch all these, you're really gonna like this." And then I finally break down and do, and Netflix is most of the time correct. And then I end up catching up in my binge watchy way until I'm caught up, and then I go straight to Hulu so that I can keep following it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to me with the 100, because I started watching it on Netflix, and then I switched over to Hulu once I got all caught up. But it was like I was just randomly flipping through all the stuff on Netflix, and that's how I found it.
That's how I find a lot of the movies I love. And they're all bad and terrible, which is why I don't share them. I know you guys don't feel the same way as I do about Birdemic and stuff.
you love that movie.
Oh
Jesus.
God, I've seen that movie so many times. It gets funnier each time.
Scary. Honestly, for me, like, I think I would just be happy with. I'm thinking about just getting YouTube Red, because I feel like I spend so much time going through YouTube content that I just really feel like comfortable with that stuff.
Okay, now tell the truth though.
I really like YouTube content, and honestly, I might not get. I really like YouTube.
Tell the truth though.
I like YouTube.
The truth is that we were watching the PewDiePie thing. And we thought it was kind of cute. We might watch that.
That. Yeah, I would be more aggressive on that show because, like,
we only saw the one episode.
Well, to be fair though, like, so you guys are familiar with the Batsu games that happen in Japan every year?
Yes.
With the downtown crew and their friends. I would do that with PewDiePie and then charge people money to see it.
That would be pretty
the show is like those games. It's just only like the haunted house aspect.
The scary bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, but like there's this like kind of like a hands-off approach. Like they can't interact with him directly as much as they can in like the Batsu games, so that because in the Batsu games the idea is that like the punishment is a physical interaction.
Well, true, but remember, we did only watch the one episode, and that one episode had a very good reason why the actors couldn't touch him at the time.
Okay, all right. But yeah, in truth, I'm not really into YouTube Red for the exclusive content. I just would like to skip all the ads and watch all my weird web shows.
Okay. Speaking of ads, did anybody else think it was bull when Hulu started doing the thing where it's like, now you don't pay for no ads, now you just pay for less ads?
Ugh.
Well, because originally your subscription getting your Hulu Plus was supposed to be reduced ads, and then they had now you can pay extra to get no ads. Now is that one now back to reduced ads? They don't have no ads yet.
I mean, like when I started, because I did Hulu Plus early on, kind of when it first started. And what it actually was is like most of the time they didn't have any ads. Like there wasn't any. There was maybe one at the beginning, but there was no ads if you did Hulu Plus. And then they switched it to Hulu Plus meant you got only like 2 ads instead of 10.
Yeah. It was reduced dramatically.
Yeah.
And now they're up to like 3 ads instead of 12. And
well, there's still. I mean, yeah, it's still way better than television, so it doesn't bother me nearly as much. It's
just you wait though, man.
Yeah.
I guess it just bothers me because it's like, why would I pay you then just for less ads?
Well, because it's access to all of the shows, as they come out, essentially.
Also, there's when you get Hulu Plus, it isn't just so you can watch these shows, but it allows you access on multiple platforms, and we have platforms out the wazoo. So, we watch Hulu on our PlayStation 4. I watch Hulu on my phone. So it's more than just watching it on my computer. Although I do watch it on my computer a lot.
I will admit, though, it is annoying. But I guess the bottom line is we're just so used to how shit television is in that regard.
Yeah, that's true.
At least it's not television.
Yeah, oh God, it's been a while since I watched television like on the TV.
I can't remember the last time I turned on my TV and didn't immediately flip to I don't know the last time I pushed the channel up, channel down button. I do not remember.
Me too.
Well, but the last time I did, I think I was over at my dad's because he still has television. We do not. And it was just something on, and so I started to just count the ads because they were so long. And one commercial break had 12 ads. And these weren't short. And it's just, it was insane. I forgot what it was. It was just. oh, it was, and it wasn't like this one time it's 12 ads. It was like on average somewhere between 8 and 12 ads each commercial break, and like nope.
Yeah, to give you guys an idea, every time there's an hour-long special, usually the special is 40 minutes, like
Yep.
by itself, with 20 minutes of ads. Just think about that. I think like Gravity Falls
So-
is an example for us. Is that the finale came out and it was like 44 minutes long or something like that, and the rest is ads.
Yeah, most of the shows I watch are like when they're the hour long, they're like 42, 44
Yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
which I don't even think about anymore because I watch it all on Hulu or Netflix.
I
so-
know.
Yep.
Now we're just like, ah, yes, this is a 42-minute show, and that just seems right.
Exactly.
Like nobody even thinks about that anymore. And
It's kind of funny. Actually, even like what's really interesting about that is that Netflix's like kind of online content that doesn't have ads on it, like they actually produce like full 30-minute shows, like when it
Yeah.
comes to that 30-minute
Yeah.
block. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
a weird thing. You're getting like an extra 10 minutes of content.
Well, 30
There's
or,
so much
you know,
more.
most of them are 60. Like they're the full
Yeah,
hour
yeah.
or plus. It's nuts because obviously, if you watch Sense8, if you're watching Daredevil, if you're watching Jessica Jones, like these series are full hour blocks. Well,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
their pilot is usually longer than the full hour, but you get the full hour, and it's kind of weird when you sit through it,
Right?
Because you're like, oh, this is kind of long.
Yeah, sometimes it feels a little long because you get so used to the like 40-minute episodes.
Yeah.
Right?
But I was thinking, like, one of the things that I kind of like about all of our media like that and TV shows and movies moving to online and people producing them specifically for online, nothing to do with TV or theater, is unusual running lengths.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can have a TV show that's like 30 minutes one episode, and then the next episode is 40 minutes because that's how long it took to tell the story. It's still in, like, that kind of short kind of burst, but it's, you know, it's very
They're
important
not-
for the story.
Yeah, they're
I
not
like
cutting
that.
content for commercials. They're doing
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing what they want to do, especially Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
Netflix has a few shows where their episode lengths are not all together. I think Arrested Development was like that. Just a little bit.
Kind of going on to Netflix again about like their original content. They also have like kid shows on that, and
Yeah.
it's
Those are
kind of
awful.
weird to like see that because it's like when I kind of took a preview of like Dino Trucks or whatever.
Oh my god, no,
Just-
that's
Which is
take a
brilliant.
peek.
super popular, by
See,
the way.
what's funny
Yeah.
is when you said 4 kids, I was thinking of they had the series How to Train Your Dragon. Like they did
Oh.
an animated series for that is
Well,
exclusive
and
to Netflix, and it's
Actually,
quite good.
I was gonna say I watched one of them because they actually have two, and one is Race to the Edge, which I just power watched like the 2 seasons
I did the
they
same
had
thing.
on
like,
there.
I just shoot
and I was
all the
like,
way
no,
through.
where's the more of it? But
Right.
it's actually really good, and I'm surprised they got most of the original voice actors too.
Ah.
That's
So-
Most of them, not all.
hilarious. But all right, so yeah, let's move on. We've actually been talking about this for quite some time.
Oh,
Sorry,
All right,
I was
well-
supposed to
Netflix,
be
man.
sure.
All right, well,
Uh,
I got one
yeah,
for
yeah.
you then that has absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about before.
Give it to
So,
us.
An interesting bit of news in the world of GameStop. So yeah, I know a lot of people have very, very negative opinions about GameStop, but let's be real, it's the only viable brick and mortar store that still exists that sells video games that isn't a mom and pop. So it has a place to exist in theory. But their online realm is doing something that could work out nicely for more retro gamers that don't live in cities and don't have access to, you know, the mom and pops that still sell old games. And what that is that they're now selling the NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PS1, and Dreamcast games on their website exclusively.
Ooh.
As, you know, pre-owns. So there's
Dreamcast.
ways to get those older games that you don't have to go to Craigslist or eBay or to a garage sale or to some, you know, mom and pop that might be, for some people, hours and hours away because you don't always get access to that stuff. And because of that, they've come up with a kind of single platform solution, which is that they are releasing the Retron 5, which is essentially a 10-in-1 games console that emulates the hardware of almost all of these systems. I think the only ones it won't cover is the PlayStation and Dreamcast. from that
Yeah,
list.
any of the disc-based ones. It pretty much has all the more retro, like cartridge-based systems.
Yeah, and it even has, let's see if I can get the full list here of other systems. NES, SNES, Super Famicom, which is, the Japanese version, Genesis,
Yep.
Mega Drive, the Famicom, Game Boy Color, and GBA cartridges all on one system. And with the power-based converter, you can also play Master System games. So it's an all-in-one solution for the majority of their, retro games, and you can buy it new in box. So I think it's a pretty smart move from GameStop. It's a thing that you can buy it online. You actually, because they buy so many of them, it's actually at a reduced price point compared to where you can get it in other places. I think they're listing it for $139.99 new. And if it breaks or you have a problem with it, since it's a brand new product, you just return it and you get a new one. So it's I think maybe a smart move. I know there are really some purists that say, look, you have to run it on the original hardware to really get it to do what it does. And sometimes I agree, because I have run some emulated games where the music or sound files or other things don't quite emulate correctly. But I mean,
but then
this
you get the guys who are like, you can't play it on an emulator ever. That's awful and ruins the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is, I think, a smart move for them to try to tap into a market that otherwise has only been being filled for the last decade by basically eBay.
Yeah.
eBay and
and,
Craigslist, yeah. So going on this, I mean, the Retron 5 is available online, but what's really unique about this, of course, is that it's available physically in stores. Like you can go to a store and see it on a shelf.
Oh.
And that's kind of the big kicker about this. What I think is actually really cool about that is that GameStop seems like they're making an effort to kind of adapt to the marketplace.
Yes,
with moves
actually,
like this.
did you hear that? I think it was GameStop. Is it GameStop that is now producing their own video games?
Yeah, they actually produced. I can't remember what studio it was, but they did produce a game. They helped produce a game.
It seems like that's a thing that they're going to be getting into in the future. Really,
Yeah,
which I think is interesting. I don't know how good it's going to be.
I gotta say, I didn't know that they were starting to sell the retro games online and stuff. And actually, I'll probably go check that out because I've only got 3 games for my N64.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
there you go.
And I mean,
Pick up some titles.
admittedly, you may be able to find actually, I wouldn't even say may. I will say almost assuredly you will probably find these in better condition at other places for cheaper, potentially. But the problem is that you don't get the warranties, you run all kinds of risk of basically being scammed, including people that use a legitimate case, but the insides are a different game, or
just a
basically
little
an
bit of
emulated
weight.
version of the game. Yep.
Yeah.
So at least that crap won't happen if you get through GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, hopefully.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, in general, as a business, it would be in their best interest to not give you shitty knockoffs. So, and especially since, what is it? They've been one of the proponents against digital downloads and stuff like that because it has hurt their business.
Well,
but
of course.
because they are trying to adapt to a new business model, I think that is something that we should tip our hats to. I think it's actually worth looking into this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see a company adapting with the flow of new technology and flow of buying markets, tying into what we were just talking about with, television networks not quite getting it and GameStop
So
recognizing recognizing where the trending is going, and so giving things that are still unique, which is of course the brick and mortar and real people, but also recognizing that online is important and vital, and getting something unique that's hard to get online readily in one spot.
Yeah. It really just seems like a very good idea on their part. IMO. I don't know how it's going to play out, though.
Yes.
These things go
on
strangely
paper, it
sometimes.
sounds good.
It sounds very good on paper.
Yeah, well, whatever happens, just don't sell. Don't let them buy any games from you.
Yeah.
That's the only
Nobody
caution I will
sells their
give out.
games to GameStop if they want anything. Good lord.
Well, it's like trying to sell movies back to Hastings.
Oh, geez. You guys have Hastings still?
Yeah, we still have Hastings.
God, I love
Yeah, I
Hastings.
know.
I miss you. I miss you, Hastings. Maya, please tell Hastings I miss it.
I will. I will send them your regards.
Give him kisses.
Oh, sorry. So just
Okay.
one last little detail about this, though. The interesting thing is the actual technical official release date for the Retron 5 for GameStop is 2/29. So if there are people that are interested, you still can't technically get it through GameStop at the reduced price. You can find the Retron 5 right now. It exists. It's a product you can buy from other places, but will be $160 instead of $140. So there's a $20 price reduction by going through the GameStop website or into their brick-and-mortar store.
Well,
Amazing.
that's a nice way to get them to buy from you.
Yeah.
Just be the
So
cheapest.
anyway, I'm done being a corporate shill for GameStop.
Shill as hard as you can, Adam.
Chill with all your heart's content. I kind of want an N64 like console of that nature.
Yeah.
Because
and-
there's a bunch of 64 games that like don't emulate well, aren't on the Nintendo eShop, just aren't available anymore, and I want those
I
games
love
back.
my N64, and I am going to use it until it literally dies.
Hang on to that. Oh,
I've had
dear
it
to you.
since middle school, and it still works.
Hey, man, those things, I probably could find like my brother's old one in the basement, and it'd probably still work. Those things were fucking monsters.
I love it.
Monsters. All right, so I think that just about wraps up the show. Thank you guys for.
No.
Whoa,
I've got a final
Uh-oh.
thing. God damn it!
Okay.
All right.
What
well,
is
hit
your
us with
thing? I thought you had a
knowledge face.
thing already.
I do have a thing. Okay, so I figured at the end of the show we could have just a cute little discussion of something stupid, very short. I want you to tell me, how long do you think that this will last before the cease and desist comes from Nintendo? All right, and I want you guys seeing this in YouTube or wherever to reply in the comments. Let me forward this here.
Oh, she's providing a link of content
Wait,
for us
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
review.
I already copied and pasted it.
I don't have it.
Okay,
Ah,
there it
it
is.
goes.
Yep, there it is. Oh yeah,
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so what I have
Oh.
just showed them is Simplicity's new cosplay pattern, which is just Princess Zelda. It is very
Now-
blatantly Princess Zelda.
Yeah,
I
actually,
was about to
it's
say
this is
Simplicity
costume
been,
with craft
oh
phone
well,
armor,
that's
belt
true.
and crown.
It is them. They'll probably cease and desist pretty fast.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
I was about to
Simplicity
say-
finds ways around
All right.
copyright a lot, but because it's them, it's probably gonna be gone in like a month.
But I was about to say, by the time this actually makes a podcast anywhere, it's probably going to be already taken down.
Yeah.
So they did avoid using the Triforce, and the headgear and shoulder armor looks like Twilight Princess.
Oh no.
But yeah,
So
that is,
mix
Yeah.
it.
that
So
is quite
Adam,
impressive.
what is your bet for how long this is gonna last?
All right, I give this till the first time that a highly exposed cosplayer wears it. So like,
So no highly exposed cosplayer.
what I
That's what
mean
you're
by
saying.
that, what I mean by that is somebody in this outfit starts getting pictures taken.
I see what you mean. However, we are looking for a time frame, sir.
All right, then I will say after Comic-Con. So by the end of July, it will be
By
gone.
the end of July. You think it's gonna last that long? Okay.
I was about to say,
Yes.
EC or Emerald City is coming up in
Yeah.
April. It could be
Yep.
there.
So Maya, yours?
I said a month.
Maya says a month. Heather?
Yeah, I'll go about a month as well, maybe 2.
Yeah, okay. Boom, do you have opinion?
I am gonna place it never. I think this is gonna stay up forever. Oh, until Simplicity retires the pattern.
I
You
Aw,
don't
don't
think
you're an
Nintendo's going to
optimist.
come across that?
I think they are in the clear enough.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
I think that it's gonna be Nintendo's gonna try to take it down. Simplicity's going to try to contest it, but ultimately it will be down in about a month and a half. That is my
So buy
Alright.
it now.
guess.
Is what I just heard. If you want
Well,
it, buy it now.
Bets
A lot
are
of
in.
Yeah,
months.
buy it now. It is $20.95 on Simplicity. I think. Yeah.
It is pattern 8113.
It is pattern 8113 by Simplicity. Just Google Zelda Simplicity pattern. It pops immediately up.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
That's
so tell
not
us in the
helping.
comments how long you think it's gonna last.
And how right or wrong we are.
And if you have noticed us being, like, stupid, feel free to mention it in the comments, tell us where we're wrong, give us your opinions on anything we talked about.
All of the things we talked about. Really quickly, I want to thank all of our guests who came on, including Maya, who just popped in randomly.
Hey.
Yay!
Where can we find you guys? Adam, like, do you guys have any shout-outs you want to give, or, like, maybe people want to follow you on social media or something?
You got a blog?
I have
do you anything?
absolutely no social media presence. No Twitter,
Yeah.
no Tumblr, no Instagrams.
Yeah.
And if you find me on
Beautiful.
Facebook, you better personally know me. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have
Oh, hang on.
Tumblr.
Say your
as
name, Heather.
As I previously mentioned.
That's
So tumblr.com/blog/ hwills456.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. hwills456.tumblr.com is my Tumblr, and it's just full of whatever the hell I like and whatnot. So if you want all kinds of nerddom and me talking about all the television shows I like, and just cute cat pictures, come check me out.
Yeah. Maya, do you have anything you want to pimp out?
Sure, I have a Tumblr as well. I am Auntie-Uncle Cass on Tumblr, and that's Auntie is spelled AUNTIE. I had people ask that all the time.
Okay.
I also,
Aunt is an aunt, not as an ant.
aunt is an auntie, not aunt. And I have the same screen name now for my YouTube page, which is full of nothing but supernatural music videos because I have a bit of a problem.
First
She's
step,
our
you wanna watch
Supernatural
those,
fan.
step
You
to
know
getting
what?
it.
I don't even like Supernatural, and I enjoy her music videos, so...
I've made a lot.
good
Like, I
videos.
swear to God, I make a new one every month. Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of supernatural videos, and I didn't
All right.
quite realize until I
Pimp
went
that-
and collected them all.
Pimp that YouTube URL again.
It's the same as my Tumblr. It's Auntie-Uncle Cass.
Beautiful.
If
Cass
you
is
can't
spelled
find it-
C-A-S.
Yeah, if you can't find
Castiel.
it through the screen name, you can look up my most popular video, which is Dean's whole family thinks he's gay.
These are the people we
No
associate
wonder.
with.
Yep.
And then Boom and I don't have to pimp anything out, because if anybody listens to it, they're probably going to be listening to it on our shit.
Oh yeah, but we should still mention I'm Boom from BoomBerry Plays. Nita is Nita from BoomBerry Plays.
Hooray!
Together we do the channel. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections as well,
Ooh,
give
yes,
it to our
corrections.
email. We are at boomberryplays@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter that's fairly active. That's at boomberryplays again. Usually we'll post video updates, all that type of stuff there. And of course, you can check out our channel for our Let's Play content, as well as our unboxing content. So yeah, again, I want to thank you guys very much. This is a pilot project. We're not sure if this is going to go anywhere.
But if you
But-
like it, let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. If you guys want more, please let us know. I don't know how frequent they'll come, because like I'll have to edit down this 3-hour block of content.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're chatty.
We are
We
chatty
can talk
chatties.
for hours.
But yeah, okay. Let's pretend there's outro music. Thanks for stopping by again. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.